Villard, Greenwald, El Rosa, Gilchrist, Mere Grove, Westport, Sedan, Padua, Glenwood Airport, Sauk Centre Airport and St. Rosa. Monitor the weather situation closely and be alert for threatening weather conditions. Now here is the hazardous weather outlook for portions of central and southern Minnesota and west central Wisconsin. For tonight, clusters of thunderstorms will likely develop along a cold front this evening across western Minnesota and track eastward through the overnight hours. A few thunderstorms may be severe, with the main hazards being large hail and damaging winds. A tornado cannot be ruled out. And now the extended outlook for the period Saturday through Thursday. Lingering thunderstorms are possible across portions of western Wisconsin and southern Minnesota on Saturday. Severe weather chances are low. Spotter information statement. Skywarn spotter activation may be needed tonight into early Saturday morning. Now the forecast for central Minnesota, from St. Cloud to the northwest Twin Cities suburbs. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Chance of thunderstorms late in the evening. Thunderstorms likely overnight, then chance of thunderstorms late in the night. Lows in the upper 60s. South winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Chance of thunderstorms 70%. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a 20% chance of thunderstorms in the morning, then sunny in the afternoon. Highs in the lower 80s. West winds around 5 miles an hour. Saturday night, mostly clear. Lows in the mid-60s. Southwest winds up to 5 miles an hour. Sunday, sunny. Highs in the lower 80s. West winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Sunday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 60s. West winds up to 5 miles an hour. Monday, sunny. High. The National Weather Service has issued Severe Thunderstorm Watch number 578, effective until 4 a.m. Saturday. This watch includes the following counties in Minnesota: Anoka, Benton, Carver, Hennepin, Isanti, McLeod, Meeker, Mille Lacs, Nobles, Sherburne, Stearns, and Wright. Remember, a severe thunderstorm watch means the conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather, including large hail and damaging winds, in and close to the watch area. While severe weather may not be imminent, persons should remain alert for rapidly changing weather conditions and listen for later statements and possible warnings. Stay tuned to NOAA Weather Radio, commercial radio and television outlets, or internet sources for the latest severe weather information. This is Weather Radio Station WMG676 Clearwater, broadcasting on a frequency of 162.50 MHz. We broadcast from the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Chanhassen, Minnesota, serving listeners across much of central Minnesota. The current time is 9:36 p.m. Central Daylight Time. The National Weather Service has issued Severe Thunderstorm Watch number 578, effective until 4 a.m. Saturday. This watch includes the following counties in Minnesota: Anoka, Benton, Carver, Hennepin, Isanti, McLeod, Meeker, Mille Lacs, Nobles, Sherburne, Stearns, and Wright. Remember, a severe thunderstorm watch means the conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather, including large hail and damaging winds, in and close to the watch area. While severe weather may not be imminent, persons should remain alert for rapidly changing weather conditions and listen for later statements and possible warnings. Stay tuned to NOAA Weather Radio, commercial radio and television outlets, or internet sources for the latest severe weather information. A strong thunderstorm will impact eastern Pope and northwestern Stearns counties until 10:15 p.m. At 9:31 p.m., Doppler radar was tracking a strong thunderstorm 10 miles south of Glenwood, or 27 miles south of Alexandria, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. Expected hazards include wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour and half-inch size hail. This is a radar-indicated threat. The following impacts are expected. Gusty winds could knock down tree limbs and blow around unsecured objects. Minor damage to outdoor objects is possible. Locations impacted include Sauk Centre, Melrose, Glenwood, Bruton, Grove Lake, Villard, Greenwald, El Rosa, Gilchrist, Mere Grove, Westport, Sedan, Padua, Glenwood Airport, Sauk Centre Airport, and St. Rosa. Monitor the weather situation closely and be alert for threatening weather conditions. Now here is the hazardous weather outlook for portions of central and southern Minnesota and west central Wisconsin. For tonight, clusters of thunderstorms will likely develop along a cold front this evening across western Minnesota and track eastward through the overnight hours. A few thunderstorms may be severe, with the main hazards being large hail and damaging winds. A tornado cannot be ruled out. And now the extended outlook for the period Saturday through Thursday. Lingering thunderstorms are possible across portions of western Wisconsin and southern Minnesota on Saturday. Severe weather chances are low. Spotter information statement. Skywarn spotter activation may be needed tonight into early Saturday morning. Now the forecast for central Minnesota, from St. Cloud to the northwest Twin Cities suburbs. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Chance of thunderstorms late in the evening. Thunderstorms likely overnight, then chance of thunderstorms late in the night. Lows in the upper 60s. South winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Chance of thunderstorms 70%. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a 20% chance of thunderstorms in the morning, then sunny in the afternoon. Highs in the lower 80s. West winds around 5 miles an hour. Saturday night, mostly clear. Lows in the mid-60s. Southwest winds up to 5 miles an hour. Sunday, sunny. Highs in the lower 80s. West winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Sunday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 60s. West winds up to 5 miles an hour. Monday, sunny. Highs in the mid-80s. Monday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 60s. Tuesday, sunny. Highs in the lower 80s. Tuesday night and Wednesday, mostly clear. Lows in the lower 60s. Highs in the mid-80s. Wednesday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the mid-60s. Thursday, mostly sunny. Highs in the mid-80s. Thursday night, increasing clouds. Lows in the upper 60s. Friday, mostly sunny. Highs in the upper 80s. Again, the forecast for central Minnesota, from St. Cloud to the northwest Twin Cities suburbs for tonight, mostly cloudy. Chance of thunderstorms late in the evening. Thunderstorms likely overnight, then chance of thunderstorms late in the night. Lows in the upper 60s. South winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Chance of thunderstorms 70%. At 9 p.m., the report from Buffalo was not available. The report from Maple Lake was not available. Elsewhere across central Minnesota, it was mostly cloudy, with a temperature of 86 at the Twin Cities, 80 at St. Cloud, and 86 at Anoka. At Crystal, it was cloudy, with a temperature of 85. Around the state, at International Falls, it was partly cloudy, with a temperature of 74. At Rochester, it was mostly cloudy, with a temperature of 81. It was cloudy, with a temperature of 82 at Mankato, 78 at Brainerd, and 75 at Duluth. Once again at 9 p.m., the report from Buffalo was not available. The report from Maple Lake was not available. This is Weather Radio Station WNG 676 Clearwater, broadcasting on a frequency of 162.50 MHz. We broadcast from the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Chanhassen, Minnesota, serving listeners across much of central Minnesota. The current time is 9:42 p.m. Central Daylight Time. The National Weather Service has issued Severe Thunderstorm Watch number 578, effective until 4 a.m. Saturday. This watch includes the following counties in Minnesota: Anoka, Benton, Carver, Hennepin, Isanti, McLeod, Meeker, Mille Lacs, Nobles, Sherburne, Stearns, and Wright. Remember, a severe thunderstorm watch means the conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather, including large hail and damaging winds, in and close to the watch area. While severe weather may not be imminent, persons should remain alert for rapidly changing weather conditions and listen for later statements and possible warnings. Stay tuned to NOAA Weather Radio, commercial radio and television outlets, or internet sources for the latest severe weather information. A strong thunderstorm will impact eastern Pope and northwestern Stearns counties until 10:15 p.m. At 9:31 p.m., Doppler radar was tracking a strong thunderstorm 10 miles south of Glenwood, or 27 miles south of Alexandria, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. Expected hazards include wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour and half-inch size hail. This is a radar-indicated threat. The following impacts are expected. Gusty winds could knock down tree limbs and blow around unsecured objects. Minor damage to outdoor objects is possible. Locations impacted include Sauk Center, Melrose, Glenwood, Bruton, Grove Lake, Villard, Greenwald, El Rosa, Gilchrist, Mere Grove, Westport, Sedan, Padua, Glenwood Airport, Sauk Center Airport, and St. Rosa. Monitor the weather situation closely and be alert for threatening weather conditions. Now here is the hazardous weather outlook for portions of central and southern Minnesota and west central Wisconsin. For tonight, clusters of thunderstorms will likely develop along a cold front this evening across western Minnesota and track eastward through the overnight hours. A few thunderstorms may be severe, with the main hazards being large hail and damaging winds. A tornado cannot be ruled out. And now the extended outlook for the period Saturday through Thursday. Lingering thunderstorms are possible across portions of western Wisconsin and southern Minnesota on Saturday. Severe weather chances are low. Spotter information statement. Skywarn spotter activation may be needed tonight into early Saturday morning.
We're screwed in.
Now the forecast for central Minnesota, from St. Cloud to the northwest Twin Cities suburbs. Tonight, mostly cloudy.
Okay.
Chance of thunderstorms late in the evening. Thunderstorms likely overnight.
There we go.
Chance of
I'm
thunderstorms
stupid.
late in the night.
So that tells me I'm
Lows
way
in the upper
overpotted
60s.
for this. So let's.
South winds 5 to 15 miles an hour.
Is this
Chance of
working? I'm still
thunderstorms,
peaked to hell. Oh my
70%.
god.
Saturday.
Okay, so
mostly
let's try that.
cloudy with a 20%
Oh, it's
chance of
partially also
thunderstorms
because
in the
I'm
morning. Then Sunday
way
in the
overdriven
afternoon.
here. Oh Jesus.
Highs in the lower 80s.
Minus 20 dB is still pretty
West
good.
winds around
It's
5
hot,
miles
though.
an hour.
So let's do this.
Saturday night, mostly
Why
clear.
Oh, so I need to do that.
Lows in the mid-60s.
Hi, why aren't you?
Southwest winds up to 5 miles an hour. Sunday, sunny. Highs in the lower 80s. West winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Sunday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 60s. West winds up to 5 miles an hour. Monday, sunny. Highs in the mid-80s. Monday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 60s. Tuesday, sunny. Highs in the lower 80s. Tuesday night and Wednesday, mostly clear. Lows in the lower 60s. Highs in the mid-80s. Wednesday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the mid-60s. Thursday, mostly sunny. Highs in the mid-80s. Thursday night, increasing clouds. Lows in the upper 60s. Friday, mostly sunny. Highs in the upper 80s. Again, the forecast for central Minnesota from St. Cloud to the northwest Twin Cities suburbs for tonight. Mostly cloudy. Chance of thunderstorms late in the evening. Thunderstorms likely overnight, then chance of thunderstorms late in the night. Lows in the upper 60s. South winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Chance of thunderstorms 70%. At 9 p.m., the report from Buffalo was not available. The report from Maple Lake was not available. Elsewhere across central Minnesota, it was mostly cloudy, with a temperature of 74. At Rochester, it was mostly cloudy, with a temperature of 81. It was cloudy, with a temperature of 82 at Mankato, 78 at Brainerd, and 75 at Duluth. Once again at 9 p.m., the report from Buffalo was not available. The report from Maple Lake was not available. This is Weather Radio Station WMG676 Clearwater, broadcasting on a frequency of 162.50 MHz. 75 at Duluth. We broadcast from the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Chanhassen, Minnesota, serving listeners across much of central Minnesota.
Good evening, everybody. Hey, it is Black Sheep weather time. That's right. You heard me right. It is time for Black Sheep weather. Unfortunately, I thought we were going to get away with it tonight, but no, we are going to be doing a live stream. And bear with me here for just a second. I got a studio light that's a little out of whack. Bear with me, folks. My apologies. Oh, I can hear myself. That is not good. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. So it's not quite as intense. There we go. Ooh, I can hear myself. What the hell? Oh, because of that. Whew. Was watching myself for a second and realized I was triggering my own problem there in terms of hearing myself. All right, so okay. Yeah, you guys can still hear Perfect Paul chattering in the background. I'll fix that real quick. There we go. So where we are right now is a hot mess. And I say that with all love of my heart. So originally we thought we were going to have a more quiet evening this evening and nothing would really happen here, but unfortunately that's not the way things have decided to go. Pardon me, I'm having a studio malfunction all of a sudden. I'm not sure why this is doing this because I've had this set up like this thousands of times before. It is, whoa, worked. Timber. Ah! Oh, it's going to be one of those nights of live television, isn't it, kids? Yes, it is. Okay, so. Ay, 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 ay. Okay. Oh, for fudge. Stickles. Okay. La 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 la. So what we have right now is we have some storms that have started to blow up. Mostly over the area around Benson, but the whole cold front is starting to light up as we expected it would. And so what we're seeing now is that development all the way across the region. And hopefully things will start to work a little better here in my luck. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know what's going on tonight, but the gremlins are running amok in the studio here, so it's my office space turned studio space. And normally I'm a bit more prepared for these little broadcasts. But I literally walked in the studio door 20 minutes ago from an event that I had to be at. And so I'm just a little frazzled trying to get my collective poo together here tonight. So my apologies to everyone. This is live TV at its worst. I mean, finest. Okay, so as we can see, taking a look at the radar, starting at the north part of the line up here by Long Prairie up towards Sauk Center, down towards Bruton, Sunberg, Murdoch. This area's got a special weather statement on it, and that is for 50-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-sized, or half-inch hail. I almost said nickel-sized. Not quite that big. Yep, it's going to be one of those nights, I can tell. Okay, there we go. Minimize myself and just go with what I know. Farther down the line, this has all started to erupt here in the last little bit. I'm going to put this into motion. This will go back to 9:20, so about the last half hour of imaging from the Chanhassen radar. As you watch this area down here towards Granite Falls, down towards Marshall, and back down towards Pipestone, you can see that's starting to build up. We're going to have to watch that. That could be what comes into play here in the Twin Cities overnight. But until that happens, we're not sure what it's going to be. Bear with me here. There we go. Studio air conditioning is a good thing. Okay, so I'm almost got my stuff together here. Should only have to pop off camera here one more time. And then we'll have everything all sorted, and I can put my full attention to this and leave everything else alone because it'll all be working. Where are my? There they are. Okay. So I can do this. Do that. And almost. Oh, seriously. There. Now it works. Okay, perfect. Oh, heavens to Betsy. All right. So let's do that. Also just realized I did not put up a notice that we are live. So let me do that real quick since I know nobody's watching right at the moment. Okay. Live stream with nowcasting. HTTPS youtube.com/@blacksheepleather. There we go. All right, and that is it posted. So 9:55, almost 10 o'clock. This is our situation. We have a severe thunderstorm watch. It's quite expansive, actually. Runs from the eastern tier of counties of South Dakota, so from Millbank down to Sioux Falls, down to T, then from Sioux Center in Sibley, Iowa, over to almost Estherville, and then going all the way up through the Twin Cities, and then all the way up into northwestern Wisconsin, including Douglas, Barron, and a couple of other counties up that way that I just totally spaced out which one's there. Washburn is the county I was trying to think of. And then that watch actually goes all the way up to the Canadian border, so strangely enough, from Baudette over to the Falls, over to Ely in this watch as well. And that runs until 4 a.m. So this is going to be a substantial event, but it's going to be a long, drawn-out event at the same time. So I have not gotten the graphics drawn up yet, but I did finally work out what our detailed coverage area is going to be. And to summarize it pretty easily, it's going to be Mankato, St. Cloud, and the Twin Cities. We'll watch everything out to the South Dakota border just because that's going to come in. And so anything out here towards like Montevideo to Benson to Appleton, out towards Wheaton, that's all going to come in towards Wilmer and Stearns counties. You have to watch that. And then anything down by Marshall could come into our southern counties over here. So yeah, it's pretty much all of the southern half of Minnesota. And then from Rice Lake down to Menominee, down to Wabasha. That's going to be our eastern edge there. Not to say we won't extend either way, east or west, but that's our primary goal for the pattern here. I'm going to get rid of our current conditions. They were showing a warm front earlier. It's what this dashed line is on the radar, as you can see right here. And unfortunately, let me see if I can give myself a mark here so you can actually see it. There we go. See, right through here, it's a dashed line. I kind of drew over it, but I perfectly missed part of it. That is where the warm front was. It's kind of washed out. You can see, though, the winds are definitely from the south across the entire region. Once you get behind this cold front, though, you notice they're very distinctly from the north and northwest. That is going to be a big change in weather, and that's what's triggering all these storms. Where you see the storms, so this area up here by Benson, Long Prairie, or Glenwood, I should say, down towards Benson, Montevideo, down towards Marshall, that is the cold front itself. Everything is lined up along the front. So that's what we're going to be watching slowly move eastward. Get rid of that line. And so what we're going to be watching is to see what develops and how much it develops. So what our big issue right now is, will this activity that's forming up west of Wilmer, down towards Montevideo, you can see the storm that was coming up towards Clara City, that's kind of fizzled. Down here towards Tyler, that storm's starting to show a little bit of sustainability. There's a lot of inhibition to be overcome in this. And so that's part of the reason why this watch goes so far to the north, all the way to the Canadian border. It's anywhere along the front has enough oomph in terms of storm fuel. It's warm, it's humid. There is some twist in the atmosphere, what we call backing winds, where the winds are like this, and as you go up, they turn and go from southeast to southwest. And so that can fuel tornadoes. We don't expect very many at all, maybe one or two, but it's always a possibility in a situation like this. Beyond that, large hail would be our primary watch out for the night, and then we could also see some high winds if they can punch down through that layer of capping above us. If that's the case, strong winds definitely would be in the cards. Realistically, high winds and hail are the two threats. We are in a 5% tornado risk up here in central Minnesota down towards Granite Falls to New Ulm. Just grazing to the northwest of the Twin City Metro. It does include St. Cloud. It does include Moose Lake, Aitken to Pequot Lakes. Will it happen? It's a little later than we expected to get going in terms of storm development, so it's hard to say. But at the same time, there's enough twist and enough storm fuel that it's also possible. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with everything here. Just making sure I've got my audio going. So for right now, there's not a lot I can say because there's not a lot happening yet. Do you see that there's been a cell that's formed up over the Bayfield Peninsula up here, way up here north of Ashland. Actually, up here north of Madeline Island even, is out here, way out here, on the end of the lakeshore, of the Bayshore Islands there, or the Bayfield Peninsula, and the Apostle Islands. That storm was moved all the way over here into the UP of Michigan. I almost said northern Wisconsin. The UP of Michigan, but right now the only thing that's going in our general area is this storm up here by Sauk Center up towards Melrose. And that special weather statement is still going for another 15 minutes. That is for cells that are moving northeast at 30 that contain winds up to 50 miles an hour and half-inch hail. So just under the threshold of being severe. Given the volatility of the atmosphere and how quickly storms could develop, I would go ahead and treat this as if it was a severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're out towards Melrose, New Munich, Belgrade, Lake Henry, Farming, Albany, Holdingford, anywhere out here in central Stearns County, go ahead and make sure you've got that patio furniture anchored down or taken in. Trampoline, make sure it's anchored. We don't have trampolines chopping into trees. That's no fun when you have to pull your trampoline out of the neighbor's tree. And then make sure that if you have your animals out, like your dogs out, make sure you bring them in or put them in the barn, wherever you keep your pets so they're safe. And obviously, if you are outdoors recreating, if you're on one of the lakes, get off the lakes, get off the boat, get back on land, get into a sturdy structure. In the meantime, we're going to watch this trailing line down here. Boy, that's really starting to firm up here. From Grove Lake and Bruton down towards Sunburg, it's a little lightning in it too, ground strikes that is, down to Murdoch. This is an area to be watched. The storm by Clara City, this cell has fizzled, but we also do have more activity trying to get established down here by Marshall. I'm going to switch radar sites to Sioux Falls, which will give us a much better look. Sort of. It's in a noise radial for... Yeah, it's kind of messy, but there is some activity there trying to form up. What? I chuckle because the weather radio says objects instead of objects. Okay, so this is just the special weather statement. I thought the additional warning, I'm like, I didn't hear any alert tones, and I didn't see it come up. Normally they'll come up on the radar first even, or close to it. It's pretty quick. I changed programs, and so we're getting a much better response now with how things interact and how quickly I can get things on the air. There we go. Thought I was going to be working remote tonight doing a on-the-road live broadcast, and was a little concerned about that because I'm used to having 3 monitors plus my tablet plus my phone. So I have a total of 5 screens I can look at, and if I really need to, I have a Mac sitting over here to give me a 6th screen of data. And a lot of times I do that. I will have, like, let's say right now I would have Sioux Falls up on the Mac. The main broadcast, I would be watching the Minneapolis radar just so I can keep an eye on both at the same time. But remote, I'd be one screen. I'd have my I have my laptop, my tablet, because I grabbed it, and my phone. This would have been a much more challenging environment for me to do the live broadcast in. As I watch this, yeah, I just have to watch and see what these cells do. This really, I think, is going to be the development of what's going to happen overnight. So, got those strong cells up here in Pope and Stearns County. That's trailing down. That's getting into Swift County. It's going to be moving into northwestern parts of Candy-Ojai County here pretty quick. And then down here in Lyons County and Marshall, this little area down here between Marshall and Tyler, up towards Minneota, that's an area that's going to have to be watched. There's a whole line there. You can see the cold front actually moving through the Sioux Falls area. Right here, you can see it. The depiction that's on here, those only come out every 3 hours. And so the last one of those would have been issued at 7 o'clock. So that would have been 3 hours ago? Yeah, 3 hours ago. So we should get a new one here in about a half an hour, if that takes that long. Take a look at the bigger picture here. See, not a lot happening out here. I'm surprised. We haven't seen more activity down here in northwest Iowa, but there's still, like I said, there's a lot of instability, but there's a lot of a cap sitting on top of it too. So I have to wait and see how this works out. I'm in it for the long haul. If we're here till 4 a.m., we're here till 4 a.m. I don't think we'll be here quite that late. I don't think the severe aspect will last that long. Then again, I also didn't think we'd get this development happening for another hour or two. I really didn't. We had a little brief line that blew through. I wonder if there's even the remnants of it can be seen in the... Yeah, you can't even see it. Well, a little bit of it's left. So you see just a tiny little bit of it here. I'm going to walk the terminal Doppler from Cottage Grove back and show here. You can see a little bit of it here. It's easier to look at it, actually, I think, in Minneapolis view. So bring this in. You can see that little tiny dribble of line here. It sprinkled for all of about 2 minutes here and at Black Sheep, just enough to give a nice smell of petrocorp. That was it. Otherwise, it didn't even really shift the winds. It was just a little upper air disturbance that blew through. And I thought maybe that would give us some activity, but no. However, I'm looking out as I just happened to wide out here by Wisconsin Rapids up towards Marshfield, Cronenwater, up towards Abbotsford and Wausau. Getting some cells developing out here. That's well ahead of the storm system, so that very well could be the remnants of what went through the northern part of Minnesota last night. Hey, you guys don't get to see the cursor when I make it big. Interesting. Bear with me here. I'm actually going to do a quick behind the scenes change out here so you guys can see my cursor easier. Huge to me, but that's okay. Let's try that. Okay. So let's try it. Is that better? Oh, that's much better. Okay. I don't know why it's showing the hand. I guess it's because I can grab the screen and move it so it sees it as a grabbable. But that does make it much easier to see where I'm gesticulating at. And yeah, you can hear the weather radio rereading that special weather statement up here for the area in western Pope and northwestern Stearns County up here. I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen special weather statement up here towards Osakis and up towards Long Prairie, just because that's where that storm is generally trying to move here. Put this back in motion. I realized I clicked on it so it stopped. But you can see the development up here too. Watching this area, it's hard to say what this is going to do because it fizzles and then it tries to go up. But it's parts of it are growing, parts of it are not. So it's just going to be watch and wait and see what it does. Will likely? Yeah, they are. Okay.
A few thunderstorms may be severe, with the main hazards being large hail and damaging winds.
Yeah, thank you. Perfect call.
Tornado cannot be ruled out.
All right, so why can I not turn him down? There we go. Okay, you guys can't hear him anymore. You can hear me, but you can't hear him. Perfect. I have him up just because I'll hear the warning in advance. I'll usually, right about the same time it pops up on the screen, but sometimes it's just a couple of seconds of heads up that there's something coming in. One thing I will note is that over the past 15 minutes, watch the lightning activity in this cell. It actually looks like it's weakening a little bit. There was a nice cluster of lightning just there to the east of Glenwood. And as it moves up towards Sauk Center, it starts to split. There's some trailing activity down here. But most of it is actually up here, moving up towards Little Sauk and up towards Long Prairie. So I'll have to watch and see how that plays out. Oops, that's not what actually, that is what I wanted to see, but that's what I wanted to do there. I turn off the weather conditions, the temperatures. Let's take a look at the day one severe weather outlook as it stands. Drag this out of my way. So what we're looking at in this yellow is a slight risk. It's a level 2 out of 5. Severe weather. That is brought on by our 5% risk of tornadoes. That's this darker brown area here that goes from basically Bemidji to Grand Rapids to Mora, down towards Elk River, Clearwater, drops all the way back down towards Redwood Falls, over towards Canby, up to Ortonville. Pretty much fills in Traverse and Baystone counties up to Wheaton, Fergus Falls, Detroit Lakes, and then back up to Bemidji to Grand Rapids. So that area would be the prime area for seeing any tornadoes if we did see them tonight. The rest of the area, including all of the Twin Cities, 2% chance of tornadoes. If we look at our wind threat, that is actually more substantial. We have a 15% chance that it covers pretty much every place that was in a 2% tornado risk. So International Falls to Bemidji to Fergus, back down towards DeSmit and Mitchell in South Dakota, Sioux Falls, up to almost Mankato, Red Wing, Eau Claire, over towards Houghton, Michigan to Thunder Bay, and then along the Canadian border over here to Baudette. And then for hail, that threat's actually not covering the Twin Cities. I'm a little surprised at that. But if we go back and look at our tornado threat, it's actually offset, which is kind of interesting. Normally that's not how that would be. But our biggest hail threat is actually from Baudette down to DeSmit, up through basically the Highway 23 corridor. So it'll come up to almost just a bit north of Marshall to Montevideo, Wilmer, Paynesville, St. Cloud, up to Mora, to Moose Lake, up through the Iron Range by Hibbing, and then up to International Falls and over to Baudette. So that's what we're looking at. That's our severe weather threat for the evening. For tomorrow, there's a small threat far southeastern Minnesota down here by La Crosse. Otherwise, there's a marginal risk from Red Wing back down towards Albert Lee to Winona, over here towards Leroy and Spring Valley and Preston. Back behind, there's general thunderstorms are possible here in the Twin Cities up towards the Twin Ports and back down towards Sioux Falls in northwest Iowa. Those will be early in the morning if we do have any storms at all. That'll be just leftovers from what we're getting tonight. But that is our severe weather outlook as it stands right now for today and tomorrow. Beyond that, it gets real quiet real fast. The other thing we have to watch out for, though, and I have to bring this up a different way, the other thing we're watching out for is our day one. This is our excessive rainfall outlook. We have a 2% chance of excessive rain pretty much from Lake County all the way back to International Falls, to Grand Rapids, to Park Rapids, to Wadena, Alexandria, Paynesville, through St. Cloud, to Princeton, just north of North Branch, and then all the way over here towards Oakland and Westcott, up towards Gordon, almost up to Brule, and then all the way over, actually that does include Brule, to Iron River really, and up and clipping basically right between Lutsen and Schroeder and Tofty, and then that'll go up to the end of the Gunflint Trail, and then back across to International Falls over towards Emo in Ontario. And day 2 doesn't look that different, really. I mean, it does, but day 2 we have a slight risk, southeastern corner of Minnesota, southwestern Wisconsin, a slight risk, or a marginal risk rather, up here from Eau Claire back towards Rochester to Albert Lee, back towards Fairmont. What's really concerning is what's setting up for far southwestern and south central Wisconsin into northwest Iowa, or northeast Iowa rather, and northwest Illinois. Notice this area: Madison to Dubuque to Cedar Rapids to Ottumwa, Des Moines, the Quad Cities, Waterloo. That's day 2. That's a moderate risk of excessive rainfall. Day 3, same exact area. So what happens is this cold front comes through, the northern part's going to swing through faster, and it's going to come over to about Sault Ste. Marie, and then that cold front's going to get stuck. And it's going to run from Topeka to Sault Ste. Marie, and it's going to hang up there for a couple of days. And so what's going to happen is you're going to just get wave after wave after wave after wave of thunderstorms through here, and that's just going to dump a ton of rain in this area. And they've already had a lot of rain. It's just one thing. We had a drought earlier in the year, and all of a sudden it's like, can we get it to stop raining, please? So that is our excessive rain outlook. That's kind of the 2 big things we're watching for right now. Looks like we're going to get more substantial development. Looks like it's going to be the northern part of this for now, north of Wilmer. So you can see this little trailing finger back down here. Really just, it kind of gets to Sunberg and Kirkhoven, and it's just kind of stalled there for the moment, but we're only getting radar scans every 3 minutes, about every 90 seconds to 2 minutes here. Chanhassen did put it into fast mode and didn't catch it. They made the difference there. Now, I'm going to do a quick 3D scan here, if it'll let me. Okay, so, what? Wow. Okay, I'm in 3D mode. Why won't it let me do what I want to do here? Volumetrics? That's the mode I was looking for. There we go. So, unfortunately, it did not draw me a solid line like I wanted it to. So let me draw my line in here. I just want to take a look across the line. There we go. That's what I wanted. So, spin this around so I'm coming north up. Oh, the one thing about this rotation is it will let me rotate any way I want. Unfortunately, it also will let me flip it 180 degrees. So what we're looking at now is how the radar sees it up through the atmosphere. And so what I'm looking for is to see how high these thunderstorms are reaching. 44,000 feet and a little over, so probably closer to 46,000. And colors we can't see really up there because this is a little bit of a darker display color. But the other thing I would want to look at here is I want to look through this bottom part of this line. I want to see what we've got developing out here. There we go. Thank you. This thing's being a pain in my rear. Oh my gosh. There. Okay. Line. There we go. Okay, I have to do it with the box. That makes more sense. West. Okay. So what I'm looking at is through the line here. And what I'm looking at, we're actually looking at it this way. It's the tail end of this line. And you notice there's a little bit of a gap there. And so there's this gap, and there's this little tower here, which I shouldn't say is that little, but it's there. So our storm up here towards Sundberg and north of Kerkhoven, we're up over 40,000 feet, 43, 44, 45,000 feet. But that cell further back is still not, it's still respectable at 37,000 feet. That's this tower up here by Kerkhoven. But really I'd be wanting to see more of, what's going to be interesting is if we do that. Because now we're looking right through the line. This way. And so I have to zoom out quite a ways. And you can see the tallest part of that storm right here, we're up over 50,000 feet in these storm tops. If I do that, yeah, we are well over 50,000 feet, so. Excuse me, oh my gosh. Oh. So what we have is definitely some thunderstorms here. And the other thing I'm going to do is split mode. And so what I'm looking at here is we're doing a split view, and we're looking to see if any part of the storm is rotating. So on the left is our radar image. On the right is our new severe thunderstorm warning that hasn't even come through on the radio yet. So what we're looking at is that new severe thunderstorm warning that just got issued. And this is area Westport to Grove Lake to Sauk Center, up to West Union, up towards Little Sauk, just north of Melrose. So we're looking at extreme northeastern Pope County, northwestern Stearns, and up into southwestern Todd counties.
The National Weather Service in the Twin Cities has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Stearns County, southwestern Todd County, northeastern Pope County until 11 p.m. At 10:19 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located 12 miles north of Bruton, or 19 miles southeast of Alexandria, moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. Expected hazards include 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. This is a radar-indicated threat. The following impacts are expected. Hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect wind damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Sauk Center, Melrose, Grove Lake, West Union, Westport, and Sauk Center Airport. Seek shelter inside a well-built structure and stay away from windows. The storm is capable of producing damaging winds and large hail. Tornadoes can develop quickly from severe thunderstorms. Seek shelter immediately in an interior room on the lowest floor of a well-built structure. Repeating,
All right, so that is the National Weather Service readout of that warning. And one of the things I want to point out, they had remember, tornadoes can form suddenly without warning from a thunderstorm. This warning does have a tornado possible tag on it. And I was wondering about this. I'm looking at this area down here, just northeast of Grove Lake, right where I've got the cursor. There you can see it. Right here. Which should be the same area right here. And what I want to do is, if it won't let me do it because I'm in dual mode. So let's unsplit. And then I want to go 3D through this storm. I want to look at something. So what I want to look at here, not the extruded 3D, that's disgusting. Volumetric 3D, thank you. Let me have my box, and I want to go right through this area. Because what I'm looking for here, that's west. I need to rotate this. We're looking that way. There we go. So that's north. Okay. So what I'm looking for here, and it's a very specific thing I'm looking for. I need to narrow this down quite a ways here. So bear with me. This is where we're getting into the weeds of meteorology here. Okay, so let's zoom out of this just a little bit. There we go. There's a little bit of a hint there. Okay. So what I'm looking for is to see if there's a bounded weak echo region showing up. And what that is a bounded weak echo region is exactly what it sounds like. It's a weak echo, so it's an area that doesn't look as intense on radar, but it's also got boundary around it. So it's in the storm itself, but there's just a pocket where there's nothing there. And we just got the latest scan in, and that actually is starting to look a little bit more concerning to me. There we go. So we've got 1-inch hail report as of 10:10. That was a train spotter in Sauk Center, so that would be hail quite a ways out in advance of that storm. That's interesting. Makes no sense. That report, it came through at 10:10 on tonight. Okay. Be interesting to see what would show. Yeah, there's what the radar looked like 10 minutes ago. That doesn't make a lick of sense. I want to put this in motion. Oh, yeah, it does. Okay, I got it. That makes sense. So what happened is, you can see the storm is edging towards Sauk Center, but it's just not quite getting there. But enough of the storm energy is there, it's lofting the hail up. And then the upper level winds are kicking the hail out. So that's why you're getting the hail out in front of the system here in Sauk Center. I just had to look at it to make it make sense. But this area down here, yeah, this is really starting to build up from Bruton down towards Sundberg, down towards Norway Lake. We're going to have to watch this area really close. And starting to get some more development down here north of Marshall as well. So we'll have to, well, northeast of Marshall. So Lyon County's getting a little busier. But yeah, I'm really watching this area up here. And I apologize. Well, I shouldn't apologize. It's not my fault. But you'll see the flash of the data every once in a while on the right side. And what that is just like there. The radar is just, it's seeing things a little differently, so it adjusts the color scale to match what it thinks it's seeing. And so it will jump like that occasionally. You're looking for the trend, not the actual what color is it. So I'm watching this little area right here. Yeah. So if we watch it over here in the radar, you can see right in here. Right there. Yep. Right over Grove Lake. So this area between Sedan and Grove Lake. Well, actually now it's moving northeast of Grove Lake. That area is definitely something they will be watching at Chanhassen to see what happens with that. I'm going to zoom out to the big picture again. And this is where I'm going to bring up my other computer. So give me just a second. I want to keep an eye on the Sioux Falls radar because that will show me more of that activity down towards Marshall and Granite Falls. Right, it's something I can glance out of the corner of my eye. Oh, come on. Every once in a while you regret all the things that open up at start when you first fire up the computer. Most of the time they're pretty helpful. Sometimes, no, not so much. This is one of those not so much moments. Okay. And there's that special weather statement just issued. And that's running from El Rosa to Bruton to Belgrade down to New London, Spicer. So getting to the northern part of Kandiyohi County. And that is that lower part of the line. More to the south that we were looking at. There we go. There we go. Sorry, I'm just getting everything set up on my other screen here. There we go. Yeah, okay, now that I look at Sioux Falls and I'm looking at that activity back down towards Marshall, I'm not nearly as intrigued by it. So, yep, and here's that special weather statement. 40-mile-an-hour winds, penny-sized hail so far. So these storms are strengthening, so they could be warned at any time. So if you're in this area, if you're ahead of this line, that is something to keep in mind. You want to make sure that you know where your safe spot is. Interesting. Sorry. Earthquake in my old stomping grounds, which is kind of unusual. Yeah. So right above my head, you can see that line. I'm going to move the screen just a little bit so I'm not hiding it as much. There we go. And you can see this area from Norway Lake over to Spicer, New London, Belgrade, Bruton, El Rosa, Greenwald up to Melrose. And I don't see, that butts right up to that severe thunderstorm warning. So that's this area here. It's moving to the east, about 30 miles an hour. 40-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-sized or half-inch hail right now. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean that these cannot be stronger at any time, which they probably will be. I'm going to see if I can... Oof. There we go. So say I'm really blown out for some reason tonight. There we go. It's also making it so you can see me, but I'm not blinded. Okay, so as it stands, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch, again, that runs from International Falls all the way through all of St. Louis County down to Duluth. So Two Harbors, Duluth, down to Spooner, Wisconsin, over towards Amory to St. Croix Falls. Does not include St. Croix, Pierce, or Pepin counties. Does include the entire 7-county metro, down including Mankato. And that runs all the way down towards St. James, Windham, Fairmont, Laverne, and all the way down to Sioux Center and Rock Rapids in northwest Iowa, and over to Sioux Falls. Up the eastern side of South Dakota, just that first line of counties along the Minnesota border up to Millbank. And then it runs all the way up to Mahnomen and White Earth, and then all the way up to Bagley, Red Lake, and along the international border. So, a large severe thunderstorm watch. And it is also entirely possible that we get storms behind this front. And so that will be another thing we'll have to watch very carefully, is to see what pops behind the front. Normally that is not something that you would expect to see severe weather with, but in this situation, it very well could be. So as we watch this, that line, it paused and decided I did not need to see what it was showing me. So there we go. All right, so I have a couple of other tidbits here that I have not done yet for my setup. I'm going to do those now before things really start to pop, because I have a feeling this is going to be the beginning of it, not so much the end, but the beginning. For our friends out here in Wisconsin, if you're watching this wondering, hey, why aren't you talking about Wisconsin? Because right now there's nothing happening in Wisconsin. Which, if you're in Wisconsin, that's a good thing. The closest warnings to Wisconsin would be our warning out here towards Little Sauk and Sauk Center. Otherwise, you're looking at the warning all the way up in the UP of Michigan. So, Wisconsin, the fact that I'm not talking about you tonight is a good thing, but unfortunately, we would be talking about you guys a lot more here in the next couple of days, because you're going to be seeing some heavy rain tomorrow and then the next day as well. So, let me... Oh, okay. Weird. Thought I had my headphones paired and I don't. Come on. Okay. They're not connected. Okay. So there we go. Perfect. All right. So there we go. Now I can hear it in my ear, and you guys don't have to listen to it in and out of the background. Okay. I'm surprised we haven't gotten more reports out of this area up here towards Sauk Center and Grove Lake. I really am. This is back to our velocity split. As I look at this, Grove Lake, I want to do a little zoom in here because I want to see where this is at. So this area right in here. Okay. Not quite where I would expect it to be, but that seems to be where it's at. So what I'm looking at is this area right here north of Padua. And that is just inside Western Stearns County, northwestern Stearns County. North of Padua. So we're looking southwest of Sauk Center. I almost said Sauk Rapids, Sauk Center. And this area right in here, that rotation signature is really starting to tighten up some. And again, it's not exactly where I would expect it to be, but I'm going to look at this one other way if it will let me. So I'm going to look at base velocity. Base velocity is chunky, but looks pretty good there too. Storm relative also looks that. Okay, this is going to be a black sheep. Heads up here. So, if you were in the area, yeah, that's really starting to look sus. Sauk Centre to Melrose. So if you're up along Highway 71 south of Sauk Centre, you're along I-94, or even if you're along 28 south of Sauk Centre going back west towards Westport, if you're in that area, you want to be seeking shelter. This storm is starting to look like it's going to rotate, and it's starting to come together pretty well here. To the point, I'm actually going to interrogate something else. Okay, if it's doing it, it's not doing it much yet. We're also looking way, way, way out in the distance for the radar. The best view of this I don't have access to. There is a private radar out here in Glenwood that the Weather Service does have access to. They would be able to look into this storm beautifully with that radar. The other radar I wish that would be added onto the network and run full-time would be St. Cloud. They have one at St. Cloud State. And that is a Doppler-enabled radar that would fill in a lot of this same hole. But I would not be surprised to see a tornado warning get issued for this area right in here. Right here. That's really starting... That's starting to look even... Yeah. So, again... Oops, that's not what I wanted to do there. I'm going to do this. So I'm going to take this and rotate this out at 30 miles an hour. So Sauk Centre at 1047, Spalding 1058, Ward Springs 1103, Pleasant Beach 1108, North Shore 1109, Gray Eagle at 1110. You're in the path of this storm. This storm has got a definite rotation. It's definitely rotating. There's no doubt about that. So I'm going to pull this out of the black sheep here. But yeah, so if I'm in anywhere near that area, I'm going to be watching out pretty closely here. I apologize. My computer is not wanting to work with me here. There we go. I'm going to pull that logo just a little further out so I have some more room to put things in here. You guys are going to get to see everything move in real time here. So, okay, so no, that is not an update. Okay, but clear that out. Yeah, that's Yep. So the other thing that could be happening here, and it wouldn't make a lick of sense, would be if there was a strong hail core there, that can throw things off. It will sometimes skew how the radar sees things. Hail core is farther north, and they just dropped Pope County off that severe thunderstorm warning, so it's just now into Todd County and into Stearns County up towards Sauk Centre. And yeah, the strongest area that hail core is about to move into Sauk Centre. We have another hail core down here between Bruton and Belgrade. And then we got nothing at all happening down here towards Marshall. And as I look at that in the Sioux Falls radar presentation, there's nothing to it. It's trying, but hasn't succeeded yet. Oh, 20 miles an hour. Okay, I had this moving too fast. Still have a tornado possible tag on this, as there should be. I'm a little surprised they have not issued... I can see why they're not to a point. But yeah, right... Oh, boy. Right here. Right there. There's another little pocket up here of there's an indent coming over Sauk Centre right now, but there's nothing rotationally attached to it. Where we have the hints of rotation is down here County Road 28. So look at Stearns County 28, north of it, and just northeast of the intersection of Stearns County 28 and Stearns County 18. So that'll be moving up towards US 71, and that will continue moving up towards and just miss. Looks like just miss Sauk Center. That will go to the southeast of Sauk Center. We'll cross over the airport, and then that will keep going and come up towards Spalding and Little Birch Lake eventually. And we do still have our special weather statement for the line farther south. And that the strongest part of that line is really from just north of Belgrade, and that extends all the way down to Pennock towards Wilmer. And so that area is starting to build up pretty well. Kind of looking at this area south of Granite Falls, it tries. Same with the activity over Marshall right now. This is not doing a whole heck of a lot. Now the other part that I have not been looking at, which, how long has this been trying to do its thing? Oh yeah, we've definitely got some new activity that's popped up here, up towards Motley, back down towards Clarissa. So those of you up towards Baxter, Crow Wing, up towards Pequot Lakes, you're going to be wanting to keep an eye on these storms as they start to develop. Okay, and I'm zoomed in far enough I can't click out and get that to go away. There we go. Oof. Okay, so I'm going to tightening up right in there, right there. I would not be surprised if there wasn't a brief touchdown there. But as it's moved up here towards Sauk Center in the last couple of scans, you can really see that rotation start to widen out and fall apart, which is good. So I think that may be, if we're going to get tornadoes tonight, unfortunately, I think that's how they're going to be. It'll be a quick 1 or 2 minute spin up, and then it'll be done. Which is just enough to make everything a real cranky mess. Bear with me here. I'm going to pop my other ear in. Oh, that's so much better. There we go. And now I can hear myself still. So it is coming up on 10:40. So let's do ourselves a quick little update here. Go up to the Duluth radar, since that watch area does go all the way up to the border. So right now, if you are north of US 2, so from Duluth over towards Park Rapids to Bemidji, or Grand Rapids rather, to Bemidji, up towards Grand Forks, there's nothing doing. Just to make sure that, let's look way north. Yeah, there's nothing. Lake County is not included, I'm surprised, but nothing to the northeast. Back towards the Twin Cities, we have our area from Pequot Lakes and Baxter. It's developing back down here towards Calissa and Browerville, towards Cushing. And then Long Prairie, you're seeing a little rain right now, but there are severe thunderstorms just to your south along 71 there. And that runs from Little Sauk all the way back through Sauk Center down to El Rosa. And then they're not severe, but strong storms running from El Rosa to Belgrade. And that's going to run almost all the way down to Wilmer. And by the time this gets going, it's probably going to be a stronger storm. We're going to see some torrential rain, maybe some small hail in Wilmer, but these storms are strengthening. So there may be a special weather statement come out farther down here into central Kandiyohi County. And then I'm going to look at far southwest Minnesota. Look at those few cells down this way, but the storm up here by Wood Lake that tried, the storm that tried and didn't, it failed. So you can see it here, watch it, and it tries and gets up here towards Vesta and just goes and fizzles. Same thing with the stronger cell that moves right up 23 and gets to Marshall and just fizzles. The second cell right behind it tries, it's over Marshall. Marshall, you're getting some good rain right now, but that's it. There's no lightning associated with this. At least it's reaching the ground. It's striking ground. It's the only warning we have is up here towards Sauk Center, where they did have 1 inch hail about a half an hour ago, as reported at 10:10. Would not be surprised to see some more hail reports come out from Sauk Center. Yeah, broad rotation now just south of Sauk Center, about to cross over US 71 and I-94. not looking at the radar presentation. The radar presentation looks impressive. When you see a notch like this, like we see just south of Sauk Rapids here, this kind of a notch is something we look for. What tells us that there's inflow coming in from left to right, or in this case from southeast to northwest into this area. It could cause some rotation. And there is some broad rotation down here, just a little south of that. We've seen tighter rotation on this, but it looks like it's trying to tighten up again. So this is definitely an area. This storm is going to have to be watched. It's going to have to be watched here for a while. I'm sure Chanhasen's probably got a little indigestion on it, but then again, they can see that Glenwood radar. We are looking way up in the storm at this point. We are looking probably 8,000-9,000 feet up in the air. So that really causes problems in terms of how we're looking. We're not seeing close to the surface where a tornado would be. We're seeing well up into the storm. There we go. So if these storms hold together and strengthen, we could be looking, but I would say we'll know what the metro is going to look like overnight by the time these storms get into the Highway 4 corridor. So we're looking at running from Mayor Grove, Albany, down through Farming, Eden Valley, or not Eden Valley, down through Roscoe towards Paynesville, Grove City, Cosmos, down to Hector. We'll know then what it's going to look like, 'cause that area is going to keep trying to build south. And if it can get down here like Claris City, that's going to graze most of the metro. And having said that, we're getting some activity starting to pop up here in the metro too. They're weak still. Well, actually, watching this area down here, but oh boy, that radar is jumpy and weird. Let's try this again with Chanhasen because that will make it a cleaner view. Okay, so yeah, we're definitely getting some development down here. So just north of Lakeville, just a little northeast of Rosemount here. And then there's another cell just in far southeastern Ramsey County. That's between South St. Paul and Landfall. So Newport, you've already seen that one. Storms will have to be watched. There is a severe thunderstorm watch that does run all the way over to the St. Croix River here. They are farther away from the cold front back here. This is where most of the lift is going to happen, is back here along the front. And that's going to be this area above my head, where this line is developed from Pequot Lakes all the way down towards Marshall. Will the storms down here amount to something? They could. Same thing with these storms that are trying to get going down here between Wabasha and Stewartville. They could develop into something. Got some stronger storms out here in Wisconsin, but really the severe weather show is going to be out here with the cold front itself. And yeah, that cell by Pennock is starting to show some more signs of development as well. Okay. And here is our cell, pretty much over Sauk Center at this point. Hail core just moving over Sauk Center now. You get about another 5-6 minutes of torrential rain before it starts to clear out here in Sauk Center. I'm looking at reflectivity on both sides. Let's look at velocity again. I'm going to stop this. So this area of convergence down here south of Sauk Center along 71 is not attached to where this notch is, which is almost on I-94. So there might be something trying to get going down here, but the radar presentation, it's in the wrong spot. Ooh. As I look at this, I'm starting to question that because there's another little blip back here. I'm not entirely unsold on this little area right here. I have to remember that when I make the mouse big and I'm scrolling it and wiggling it around, it gets big. You guys can't see that. So right here, right about where the hand is, you see this area right here. Not entirely convinced that there's full rotation there, but the storm is definitely showing signs that it wants to develop a core and it wants to rotate. Down the rest of the line, no rotation at all. Same thing all the way down here to Marshall. Just to double check that. Yeah, these storms down here by Marshall and Granite Falls don't even really merit much of anything. Now this is looking from Sioux Falls rather. And so we're looking quite a ways away from the radar, all the way up here. And you can still see there's a pretty substantial core down here southwest of Sauk Center. Part of that is parallax, so the radar showing it a little bit off from where it is. Going back to Minneapolis, it's seeing this area right in here. You know, velocity lags slightly because there's processing that happens. The timing on the frames is not exact. I'm not liking this rotation, this indicated rotation here. High-res velocity. Okay, okay. So it would be this area, so we're definitely getting rotation, but that's not tight. And storm-related SRM is not even coming up as a valid product. Wow. Yeah, base. High-res velocity looks one thing, high-res storm velocity is another. Yeah, I'm just gonna... Okay. Looking at our debris detector correlation coefficient product, we have a bit of a weakness right here, right Sauk Center itself. Right here where 71 and crosses 94. That is offset from where our rotation is, somewhat. Because our expected rotation, I'm going to bring this screen over and change modes on it. Because our rotation that we're kind of suspicious of is actually farther south. Because it's probably a mile or two south of here where 28 branches off, south of Sauk Center and south of 94 off of 71. Because that rotation broadly is near 71, south of 28. Whereas this weakness in the debris detector and the correlation coefficient is really farther north than that, extending northeast. And so when I look at that, and I look at standard velocity, when you notice the latest scan, that whole little weakness area just is gone. I would expect this area right in here, there's a little weakness in this brownish area, but that's also where the biggest hail core is right now. So from downtown Sauk Center up along 71, and that's going to cover the Boyack Mobile Home Park, the Big Sauk Lake Mobile Home Park, and that's going to keep moving up. That's going to move up here between northwest of Spalding up towards Sauk Lake. That's going to move up here towards the Elgin Woods Wildlife Management Area, same with the Gray Eagle WMA. And if it holds together, it will go well northwest of Gray Eagle. But actually, you know, that's the hail core, but the center of the storm itself really looks like it would go right over Gray Eagle. Yeah. Storms are definitely showing rotation, but I'm not seeing anything that just says, hey, why aren't they blowing a whistle on this and throwing a warning? It's not trivial, but it is. And I say that because It comes together for a frame or two. It gets tighter. It's not a tight rotation, the classical bright red, bright green right next to each other, where if we sample the two pixels and we look at it, it's like, oh, there's 160 knots of wind shear there between the two. And we just updated our severe thunderstorm warning now, and that's similar going to cover Sauk Rapids, or Sauk Center rather. So northwestern Stern, south central Todd until 11:30. Severe thunderstorm near Sauk Center, moving northeast at 20, 60-mile-an-hour winds, quarter-sized hail, tornado possible. So Sauk Center, Melrose, Freeport, Sauk Center Airport, Birch Lake State Forest, and St. Rosa. And again, that's going to cover the two trailer parks there north and east of Sauk Center. So Big Sauk Lake Mobile Home Park and Boyack Mobile Home Park, both of you. You're in that heavier hail core. The worst of the storm is about to move out, but the storm is only moving at 20 miles an hour, so it's not a quick storm by any shake of the stick. So if you're up towards Ward Springs, moving up towards Gray Eagle, you're in the path of this. And that extends all the way down to Melrose and Freeport. So if you look at it, it's a fairly small warning, but then again, the storm's only moving at 20 miles an hour. There's no reason to have a big warning trying to reach out all the way through to a Little Falls. I mean, it's just not probable. It's not practical or prudent. So unless something changes and something really starts to look spinny up here, I'm going to unsplit this and just focus on reflectivity. So we're still watching this area. The other warning was allowed to expire. Okay, that makes sense. I just refreshed it. Still watching this little area down here by Wilmer. So we've got a cell that's developed right here, just west of Wilmer, right about over the airport, really. Yeah, right over the airport. ILL. No, it's BDH, but thanks. So just southeast of Pennock here, just west of Wilmer, right between 12 and 40. US 12 and 40, right along County Road 114. And that's going to come in to Wilmer right along 12. And that's going to follow 12 across and probably move just north Candy Ojai, Atwater, Grove City. Probably closer up towards Forest City and Kingston on the trajectory these storms have been moving. And here's that storm up here between Gull Lake, East Gull Lake, and Motley, moving towards Pillager, up towards Baxter, Brainerd, and Pequot Lakes, and Nisswa. So up here in the Brainerd Lakes region, a strong storm coming through. Nothing severe on it yet, just strong. Taking a look at our activity that was bubbling down here in the southeast metro, rather. A few stronger showers, that's about it. So the severe thunderstorm watch is still sitting here. Just got the latest update on it. Severe weather threat continues across the entire watch area, so nothing's changed here. So we have everything from Sioux Falls and Sioux Center, Fairmont to Clear Lake in South Dakota, up to Millbank, South Dakota, to Fergus Falls to Detroit Lakes, all the way up to Baudette, all the way over here to Ely, Twin Ports, Hayward. You're just on the edge of it. Spooner, Wisconsin, St. Croix Falls, Turtle Lake, down to the Twin Cities. Northfield, you're right on the edge of it because that is covering Dakota County, but not Rice. Le Center, Le Sueur County, you're in this. Mankato, you're in it. And then all of southwest Minnesota. Far northwestern Iowa. So the 5 counties there. So we're looking at Rock Rapids, Sioux Center, Sibley, Sheldon, and Milford, Spirit Lake area. It's Lake Okoboji. And then the far eastern counties, like the line of counties from Millbank all the way down to T in South Dakota, that first county's right there, right along the border. You're in this watch as well. So we have the one warning in effect. And that's for this cell. Up here, getting east of Sauk Center now, the core of it's moving just north of 94. It's going to pass north of Melrose and Freeport. It's going to move towards Holdingford, right along 238 here. Hail core was looking much more pronounced earlier, but hail core will probably follow right here. What is that, 28? Yeah, it'll follow 28 out towards Spalding, but then it will keep moving east towards Pleasant Beach and Little Birch Lake. And then we have our narrow little line here, which that's starting to strengthen. We've got a little bit of gap here. Melrose to New Munich, over towards Mayor Grove, Greenwald, El Rosa. Getting some rain through there, but not a lot of storm. Getting some more lightning here, just west of Spring Hill. Got let's get a bit of a hail core and some lightning happening just south of Highway. Is it 55? Yeah, it's 55 between Bruton and Paynesville. So just south of Belgrade, just west of Regal. Getting some lightning there, and then that line of storms extends down. There's some strength to it. Not a lot of lightning, though, which tells me it's still not really developing. And that extends all the way down almost to Pennock. So that tail end is just mostly rain. The stronger part of the storm is going to stay north of Wilmer. That's going to stay north of Highway 12. Probably going to go just a little bit south of... It's going to go across Spicer, but the end of it's just south of Spicer. And that's going to even miss 12. I mean, that's probably going to go paralleling 12 going towards Forest Lake, but it will stay north of Highway 12. Sorry about the rapid scan jump there. I was trying to look and see what was happening and really wasn't paying attention to what was happening here. So I'm going to see if I can help my computer out a little bit here. It's a little cranky pants at the moment. Which, given what I'm asking it to do, is not that much of a surprise. Uh-oh. Okay, let's see if that helps a little. Okay. Maybe? Alright, that special weather statement has expired now at 11 o'clock. And now it's for that area from Greenwald down towards New London. Still a little little frisky down there, but nothing stands out. What? Okay. So watching the storm, you'll notice there's starting to be a definite gap between these two areas. So Melrose, it looked like you were going to get a pretty good storm, and it looks like you're just going to get some rain now. But that storm up here, it's approaching Gray Eagle. I'm trying to figure out if it's reorganizing and trying to become its own solitary cell, or if it's going to fizzle. Because it looks like it's going to try to fizzle. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what it is. I'm going to look at big picture here. Oh, excuse me. Ugh. There used to be. I did it earlier today. I was like, oh, that's how you do that. And I don't remember how I did it now. That turns the radar. How did they turn that off? You turned off the cities and it made it much easier to see what was going on. That's what I was trying to do here. So we do have our thunderstorms still lined up. They are weakening some. And there's still some lightning in it. Don't get me wrong. These storms are still Still kicking around out here. Notice there's a lot of lightning outside of the storms. Out here towards Paynesville, Lake Henry, getting storms ahead of time, or ahead of it. Okay. Did we just get another update? No. Okay. I'm still trying to figure out why on earth something's happening here, but okay. Like, I'm going to send an email real quick to about this because it's bugging me that much. Okay. Okay. Bink. That's odd. I clicked on it and it didn't do what it said it was going to do. Okay. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. Like I said, it was one of those things that was just bugging the daylights out of me. Alright, so... clean up some weather data that's come in here. Okay, there we go. All cleaned up. Perfect. All right. Just the one warning. This little warning up here, which I'm not sure how much longer this warning may stay in effect. That storm is rapidly starting to lose its structure and fall apart. Yeah, I'm not sure what just happened there. Normally storms don't separate off like that. Little development back here towards Osaka is trying to race along the front too. Yeah, I'm starting to get some bubbling up here over the cities. I don't know that it'll do a whole lot here. I'm going to zoom way in. Using the Doppler radar in Cottage Grove, thanks to the FAA for making that publicly available. Yeah, you can see our flow aloft is southwest, clearly. Just pushing those little cells right along. Okay, so that is what that looks like over the cities. Just want to make sure you keep an eye on that. I'm surprised we have not gotten any storm reports at all from out here. The area from Spring Hill back down towards New London and Spicer. A little bit of a stronger part of this complex down south of Wilmer along 71 and, was that 23? Yeah, it's 23 wrapping around there on the south side of Wilmer. But looks like there could actually be some decent hail up here east of 71. Coming in right on the Highway 4 corridor between Greenwald down to Lake Henry, and that'll eventually reach down towards Paynesville. And there's a special weather statement for that area that I was talking about. And that is for penny-sized hail and 40-mile-an-hour winds. That line is just poking along northeast at 20. So as it stands right now, if this is all the more activity we get, knowing this is all moving northeast at 20, I'm going to take the south end of this line right here, and we'll move it northeast at 20. In the metro itself, Anoka at 3:15 a.m. If it all holds together, and that's asking a lot of strengthening and holding that together. Realistically, will it hold together that long? Most likely not. I don't see it happening. Could it? Absolutely. Do I see it happening? No, I don't. So, I'd really like to see some more development come down along the line here. From Wilmer down towards Renville. I mean, ideally down to Tracy. Really, if we're gonna get the metro getting storms, that's what it's gonna take. However, I said that I zoomed in a little bit. Is that the remnants of something? Or is that something else trying to free... we might be getting something right next to the cursor there. Because that looked like it fizzled completely over Echo. And then it reconstitutes just a little tiny bit. Again, I'm not going to hold my breath on that little storm. But, as the old joke goes, you never ignore what could be. There's lots of things that can be said about that, but yeah. So let's turn that off. Yep. So the severe thunderstorm warning up here by Sauk Rapids and Todd and Northwestern Stearns County has been canceled, as I expected. That storm fell apart pretty quickly. Looks like it might be trying to reconstitute a little bit. Just southwest of Gray Eagle here. You see it strengthen up to the last frame there. But we do have a line of strong storms that is really starting to organize from Greenwald down towards Spicer and getting into Wilmer, actually. It looks like that's starting to strengthen up finally into the Wilmer area. Yeah. We'll have to wait and see if that line can solidify up more. Because if it does, that starts to bring... Look at that. That's not really a northeasterly track. I want to see if they have it listed in the bottom. No, of course not. And we don't have a warning, so I can't go back and pull it off of that. Sometimes they list the direction as like northeast, but what they really mean and should be saying is, yes, it could be moving northeast, but in reality, it's moving more to the east-northeast or something like that. Really? Give me that kind of a night? Okay. Bear with here. My computer's getting a little fussy just because I am beating the snot out of it in terms of what I'm asking for it to do here. So I'm going to see if I can pull some extra air through and cool it off a little bit. And what do we got going on? That's that. That's that. That's that. Okay. I know what I forgot to do. Okay. So Chanhassen canceled this warning. They did note that small hail could still be possible with this storm. Given that little remnant core right here southwest of Gray Eagle going up towards Bertram, would not be surprised if there was some pea to dime sized hail on that. Nothing severe, but it just enough to hear it pinging off the roof or off the pool or whatever's outside on the deck. Yeah. So they're saying this moving to the northeast at 20. Yes, the cells are moving to the northeast at 20, but the whole line is really moving to the east. So watching, a little cell trying to get, a little something trying here. It keeps bubbling up, down, up, down, up, down, out here between Lake Lillian and Cosmos. So this area down here is starting to really try. So we're going to have to watch this area from, Lake Lillian, Cosmos, Hutchinson, back down towards New Ulm, and even back towards Lamberton and Redwood Falls. That area could start to do something. Last scan in that storm of Lake Lillian is actually starting to do a little. It's got some heavier rain in it. That's as far as I want to extend that thought. But we're getting lots of little bubbly development, but we're not getting anything to break through the cap. And I think that's going to be the story of the night. It's starting to cool off modestly. And I say that as I look, and it's like, start reporting 84 degrees outside the Black Sheep Studios. That's pretty disgusting. Yeah, temperature 84, dew point 77 at Crystal. The humidity is a whopping 80%. It is 11 p.m. The heat index is still 94 degrees. Yuck. Up here, Black Sheep, 84 degrees. Dew point 75, humidity 74%. Heat index is 92. So, it's just kind of gross and disgusting out. And, even looking out towards Flying Cloud, 83 degrees, dew point 76, feels like 91. So, the airport, of course, is going to be the warmest temperature because it's got the most urban area around it. But looking farther out, St. Cloud, 79 degrees, it's a little cooler, but that's not surprising considering they've had some sprinkles move over. Dew point 77, feels like 88 degrees. The dew point is 77. So it's pretty gruesome out there, and it's almost swimmable. Hutchinson 79, dew point 78. Feels like 84. So that's what we're up against. I am going to bring the current conditions back up onto the screen here. There we go. I'm going to remember to put those up in Fahrenheit units. Otherwise, you're all going to look at me like I'm crazy when it comes up and does it in regular or in metrics. There we go. Bing. All right. So out in front of this line, it's a little cooler to the north. They've had some sprinkles. It's hit or miss. But looking at St. Cloud, 79. St. Cloud is in the lower area, so it's always a little cooler, especially at night. But Litchfield, 81. Maple Lake, 82, 82. Across the metro, we're sitting between 82 and 85 degrees. Dew points in the mid to upper 70s. This is becoming more common in Minnesota, but it used to never be. And you can still see, dew point 78 in Owatonna, 76 at Rochester, 81. The dew point of 81 at Preston. 100% humidity with a dew point of 81. Yeah, look along I-90, 77, 78, 75, 78, 77, 75, 78, 81. Yeah, these dew points are just unbelievably high. And the reason we're getting that, and you can thank Iowa for this, not Canada, we're going to blame Iowa, is corn sweat and evapotranspiration. So what happens is corn is an incredibly efficient thing for pulling moisture out of the ground, lots of it, and then basically evaporating it back out as it produces sugar in corn, and it makes corn on the cob, basically. It also releases a lot of that moisture back into the atmosphere. And so in peak growing season, a field of corn can do amazing things for bringing the dew points up. And so that's why, like in Iowa, you'll see dew points, especially out here, a little bit northwestern Iowa, dew points are pushing into the low 70s. If we look farther down, really get into the Corn Belt, still pushing mid 70s. Now this is looking from, Des Moines. So I want to point out Des Moines is looking at this activity up here between Painesville and Wilmer and sees it. Now, we're looking 26,000 feet up in the atmosphere to see this from there. Sioux Falls is a bit closer. Sioux Falls definitely sees it. It's not as smeared out, but it's definitely there. And then Chanhassen, Minneapolis, definitely sees it. Yeah, Grey Eagle, you're seeing some really heavy rain right now. Bertram, you're next. That is going to go just a little south of Swanville. And that's going to go up towards between Flensburg and Sobieski. Eventually, if it holds together, we'll pass just to the northwest of Little Falls and up towards Belle Prairie. And what we're watching right now, the strongest activity we have anywhere, is this area of strong storms from Freeport and Melrose, New Munich, Greenwald, all the way down through Lake Henry, just west of Paynesville to New London, Spicer, and really to Wilmer. That cell down here, just over Wilmer, is starting to produce some lightning and starting to a bit more intense. And looking at anything down here in southwest Minnesota, there's just nothing. I'm going to switch to Sioux Falls just because it'll give us a better look. No. Nothing. Now, I'm looking behind the front here. And you'll notice it's not that much cooler or that much drier behind. You get way back here. Gettysburg, South Dakota. I mean, we're talking halfway across South Dakota to get into some drier air. Pierre, Dew Point 56, Mobridge 57, Linton in North Dakota 59. So, yeah, we've got a ways to go before we get in some dry air. Sunday would probably be when we can really expect that. Now, I'm going to point out that this area up here around Paynesville is starting to really produce a lot more lightning. This is starting to strengthen up. So I think our next severe thunderstorm warning, if we get one, will probably be right along Highway 23. I had to look at this real quick. Along the north of 23. So this is going to take aim right at St. Cloud, Way Park, Sauk Rapids, Hartel. If you're on the south side of St. Cloud and you're closer to Luxembourg, down towards Clear Lake and Clearwater, you're not going to. I mean, you'll see some storms with this, but I think the strongest part of the storm is going to go right over the St. Cloud Metro. The strongest part will be up towards Watab, Sartell, and Sauk Rapids, St. Joseph, and out towards St. John's in Collegeville. Our severe thunderstorm up here in Todd County has just completely collapsed. Still got some heavy rain around Bertram, and I don't think that storm will survive even to get up much past Swanville moving northeast. If it makes it to Sobieski and Flensburg between them, I'll be shocked. That is really starting to fall apart. Now, this is what happens when you look at the wrong area for just a split second. Now watch what happens here in the last couple of frames. Out here by Atwater, just north of Cosmos. Whoops. Boom, boom. We're getting some cells starting to pop. We're starting to get some more activity down here. And I'm going to point out that the front, something just got issued, and I'm not sure where it is, but it's bigger because there's 2 or 3 counties involved. There it is. There's that severe thunderstorm warning I was waiting for. So from just northeast of Wilmer, going up towards Forest City and Meeker County, Eden Valley, Farming, Albany, Freeport, New Munich to Greenwald, back down the Highway 71 corridor down towards New London, Spicer. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning that expires here at midnight. 1-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds are the primary threats. I will point out this does not have a tornado possible tag on it. This is a straight severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour winds and 1-inch hail. Moving northeast at 25. Now, while we take note of that, and we kind of watch these little cells trying to bubble up here around the metro, we need to keep watch on this activity down here in southern Kandiyohi County, moving into southern Meeker County, and also watch this activity that's trying to bubble up back here over Renville County. Eventually it's going to move into Sibley and into McLeod County. I had to be careful. I almost called it MC Leota County. The weather radio used to pronounce it back in the olden days. There were a few typos or mispronunciations that were amusing, to say the least. That was one of my favorites, is McLeod County from McLeod County, and then the town right over here by Chippewa Falls was EAU Clare. It could not say Eau Claire, it's an EAU Clare. So right now, this special weather statement has been upgraded to a severe thunderstorm warning, and that extends from Greenwald, New Munich, and Freeport up towards Holdingford, down through Albany, Farming, Richmond, Eden Valley, almost down to Forest City, and back down just along the Highway 12 corridor, just north of Grove City and Atwater, just north of Candy Ojai and Wilmer. 60-mile-an-hour winds and 1-inch hail are the primary threats here. And I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so I can keep track of this. Because I'm watching these cells trying to get going down here in Meeker County. The activity further back here in Renville County is just, it's trying, but that's more along the front, so that doesn't surprise me. It's these cells up here by Atwater and Cosmos. Those are out in front. Pardon the pun. They are in front of the front. So what that means is they have this warm, juicy air mass all to themselves. Can they tap it? That is going to be the question. If these storms stay like this and stay elevated, then what we'll see is likely just be a hail threat from these storms. Maybe some strong winds. If, that's a big if they can become surface-based, being out ahead of the line, they have a chance of becoming tornadic. Not a likely situation. The later we go into the night, the lower the chances of tornadoes really are. And we still have the watch-in effect behind the front. I'm a little surprised back here, like Monoman. So up here, like Red Lake County, Clearwater County, White Earth County. Did I say White Earth? I did. Oh, good grief. Surprised this area is still in the watch. I really am. Even Ottertail could come out probably. That area. So, I don't like zooming in too far because otherwise what you do is you start losing what you're looking at. But unfortunately, because of where the radar is, you kind of have to do that. I'm going to take a quick peek at the metro here. Oh, we got a little cell trying to go up here by Rogers. Aww. One up here by East Bethel. One just southwest of Burnsville. That's kind of Credit River area there. Actually, northeast of Credit River. So that's right there on County Road 42. Gonna pass up. That's going to move up right over Burnsville. So that will track over Burnsville, eventually start paralleling Black Dog Lake in the Minnesota River Valley. And if it holds together, that will go right through Mendota Heights and Sunfish Lake. Again, not a severe storm, just a cell bubbling up. We have another one just southwest of New Prague. Another area right here between Hampton and Castle Rock trying to get together. Don't know if it will. A few other showers up here by Invergrove Heights. This activity up here in central Washington County is not doing it. A storm up here by Ramsey County, though. I'm looking at the... I just realized which radar I'm looking at. Let me switch. Pink. Yeah, that storm up here by Ramsey, that one actually is getting its act together. Storm down here by Burnsville. Trying. Again, same down by Hyattson. A little bit more of a bubbling area of cells trying to get going from New Prague. Right there, right along the Highway 19 corridor over towards Castle Rock, Waterford, and all the way over to almost near Randolph. So the front is through Wilmer now, which is why the wind is now coming out of the due west. And yeah. So if you're wondering, the front is not back here anymore. Again, the front's only come out every 3 hours. So this only updates every 3 hours. This line really from Pine River back down. Ooh, I don't know if it's through Sauk Center or not. It'd be close if it's not. But it's through Wilmer, or through Wilmer Airport, I should say. Yeah, it's through Sauk Center. I have to look at it closer. So really, from between northeast of northwest rather of Baxter, back down to Grey Eagle, to New London, to Wilmer, to Renville, and down towards even Tracy is now behind the front. Anywhere that's north and west of that area, your chances of severe weather are dropping rapidly. In front of it, all modes are still possible. And we're really starting to get some development out of this now. So out here, the Atwater Grove City area towards Manana, that area is starting to develop. We have another couple of cells just southwest of Litchfield, one near Acton and one just north of Cosmos, that are trying to get their act together. So we definitely are starting to get some activity popping now. The original thought was that the cities would see activity. Believe it or not, the cities would not see anything between 7 and 10 Zulu. So we'll be looking at 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Do I believe it? Yeah. These storms are moving so slowly. They're all moving 20 miles an hour. The front's only moving at 20 miles an hour. So that's not really... We're just waiting at this point. It's a waiting game to see what happens. Now, we're cooling off here in the metro. I mean, cooling is relative. We were up into the low 90s today, or near 90. So we're getting some activity trying here. That cell north of Ramsey, it fizzled, which doesn't surprise me. Anything out here well ahead of the front. So anything over the east, over the metro towards the St. Croix River Valley, you may get some rain out of it, some quick sprinkles, but I don't see anything really popping out of that and doing anything substantial. It's going to be right along the front or right in front of it. So this is a storm down here we were watching by Echo. It's now on the front. It's actually this area between Wilmer down to Roseland, well, east of Wilmer, west of Atwater, down through Roseland, down towards Olivia, and back down to northwest of Redwood Falls. The rest of the front's trying to fill in with some storms now. And we've definitely got to watch these storms out in front of the line. Out here in far eastern, Kandiyohi County, and into southwestern Meeker County. Those storms, if they can break through that inversion, break through that cap, they could really intensify quickly. Now, will they? Can they? That's the question that remains to be seen. The fact that they're holding together for 15, 20 minutes gives me a little bit more confidence that they might be able to do something. So as of this moment, okay, so bear with me here. Convection continues along the surface front from Kandiyohi into Crow Wing County. Some upward increase remains possible. And mid-level temperatures are starting to cool. So what that does is that lets our storm start to intensify. That will weaken that cap above us. Which may explain why we're starting to get this activity out here by Atwater down towards the area south and west of Litchfield. It may be because we're getting that cooling starting to happen aloft. And I did not look at the rest of that, and I should have. I apologize to everybody. There we go. Okay. Just got an update on this warning here. Okay. Okay. So, New Munich to Spicer. This area. Quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. That is radar indicated, but that is the current update on this warning. I'm really starting to look at this area down here, and we're getting some activity in front of the front. This kind of changes things. We're getting some serious, yeah. almost looks like there might be just a little hint of a convergence signature right in front of the front. So the front right now is running from Candy Ojai down towards Blomkist to Danube. I have to look at this really close. Towards Delhi. And you'll notice there's the cells up here that have moved into Meeker County. They're definitely intensifying. There's the faintest hint of some development taking off along the front. But there's also the cell over here by Olivia that's trying to get going. And there's another one right here, right in front of the front, southwest of Olivia. So cells in front have that ability to tap this extra juicy atmosphere. So I have to watch that very, very carefully. This little storm up here by Ramsey, it's trying. It really wants to. Yeah, Dayton, it's threaded right between Dayton and Ramsey. Everything else in the southeast metro is, again, it's bubbling, but it's not succeeding. And that's the story. Is farther east, you still have the stronger cap. The cap is weakening to the west. I'm waiting to see if there's going to be any update to this. Okay. So they've tagged Wisconsin this. I want to see where in Wisconsin they're looking at. Okay. Okay, so the updated threats are winds 65 to 80 miles an hour in the watch. Hail up to 1 3/4 inches, so 1.75 inch hail. So we're looking at golf ball sized hail. And if there were any tornadoes in this, which I would be surprised at this point if we got any tornadoes, would be less than 95 miles an hour. So we're looking at EF1 or weaker tornadoes. Again, any tornado is enough to mess up your life if it hits your house or hits where you're camping or whatever. But we're not looking at the large damaging tornadoes that we could have seen if this had pulled together just a little earlier. So, yeah, our storm up here, yeah, like I said, if it makes it to north of Sobieski, I'd be surprised. That storm has completely just given up the ghost. So right now what we're looking at is the severe storms moving into Albany, down towards Farming, Roscoe, currently right into Paynesville. Rainsville, you're just about to get drenched as this line blows through. It's a narrower line as it extends through northeastern Candy Ojai County. Eventually it's going to get to Atwater here in the next few minutes, but we have cells starting to really bubble up here in Meeker County ahead. So we've got one over Manana that's starting to really organize, and then a little area down here between Cosmos and Litchfield, just to the east of Highway 4. And then this area down here towards Olivia. There's some area right in front of the front, but there's also some storms developing right on the front. So we have a lot to watch. If you'd asked me 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, I would have said the Metro may miss out. This may be another one of those, this could be really intense and nothing happens type situations. And in fact, it looks like it's going to be just the opposite. It looks like it's just we didn't wait quite long enough. And we'll get there eventually. Unfortunately, for the Metro, it's going to be a late night. So bear with me here. I'm just going to organize a few things here. Just because I know things are about to get a little crazier here in the Metro. Okay, there we go. Oops. go. I realize I have not been issuing updates on social media like I should be. I'm just doing them here on the webcam live. Let's see if I can fix something real quick. No, I can't. Okay. One of the issues that I've been having pretty repetitively here is that it's very difficult. What the heck? Okay, that's it. Oh, excuse me. There we go. The things you don't see on network television. Oftentimes at the anchor desk, we're wearing our nice shirts, and below the desk, if it's a solid desk, it's shorts, because the old school studio lighting was hotter than bloody hell, and you roasted under those lights. Even with the LED lights, there's still a lot more heat than you would expect, but it was not uncommon to see a small fan under the desk for the anchors, for the talent. I am going to do one thing for myself to save my own sanity here. There we go. Yeah, that webcam's a little messed up. I don't know why. It's dropping frames for some reason, but now I'm looking. What the hell? I just realized that's broken. What the fungus? Hold on. I apologize. I just realized the warning's been broken this whole time. It's there. Okay. So, okay. Refresh. What the fungus? Okay, turn it on. Okay, see. Okay. It claims it's running. No, it's not. Using X. Crap. You lie through your teeth. I don't know what it's doing, but it's lying through its teeth. Bear with me, everybody. I apologize. I was so busy watching this myself. There we go. Let's try this again. Okay, so we are losing counties in the severe thunderstorm watch. So let's take a look here. Yeah, there we go. All of South Dakota, the counties in South Dakota that were included. So from T through Sioux Falls to Brookings to Clear Lake to Millbank, you are now out of the severe thunderstorm watch. All of Minnesota, the counties that we're in, are still in. Same with Northwest Wisconsin, Northwest Iowa. You're still in this. The front has not gone through. So right now, here in the metro, we are watching quite a lot.
New information.
All right,
This
there's our
severe
update for
thunderstorm warning
severe
has been
thunderstorm warning.
updated.
Finally. And as of 11:41, so this right now, severe thunderstorms along the line from 7 miles southwest of Albany to 6 miles north of Atwater, or along the line from 22 miles west of St. Cloud to 13 northeast of Wilmer, moving east to 25. Again, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. And those are moving again northeast at 20 or east at 25. Not northeast, but east. So that's an important change up. A little cell right there, but it went through Ramsey. That's still trying desperately to pull its stuff together here. Okay. And there we go. My apologies. I'm trying to juggle quite a few things here, and it's not working out so well for the live cam. Or the live stream, I should say. So I'm just trying to get my collective poo together here. There we go. All right. All right. And if you're paying close attention at home, yes, I just drank 32 ounces of blackcurrant iced tea, and that means I'm probably going to have to jump off camera here soon. But until that point happens, I'm here. So, new mesoscale discussion just came through. I'll show that to you here real quick. Wrong product. That's the product I want. There we go. Okay, so the oh, and there's some trimming happening there. So Park Rapids, Wadena, Parker's Prairie, Fergus Falls, Elbow Lake, Detroit. You are out of the severe thunderstorm watch now, which does not surprise me. The front has gone through, so once the front passes, about an hour later, you'll be, give or take, would be the window where you're looking to be cleared from the severe thunderstorm watch here. If you're in western Wisconsin, Eau Claire, Menominee, down towards Lake City, even Owatonna, Rochester, we'll see what happens and what's still there when it gets to you. So, yeah, still watching this. Yeah, don't want to zoom in too far because it really makes the radar look like crud, especially at that distance. As we watch this, so that's what their warnings and statements look like. Put the radar back on. I'm going to take the fronts off because, again, that doesn't update but every 3 hours. So it kind of gives you a false idea of what's going on. Oh, there we go. So this area in the blue, right here, this is the area that they were talking about for storms developing and more intensification happening. This is from the Storm Prediction Center. You notice that does include the western part of the Twin Cities. So most of Anoka County, Hennepin County, far eastern Scott County, Carver County, and then anywhere back, Benson, Montevideo, Granite Falls, Redwood Falls, Worthington, Fairmont, Jackson, all the way back up, including Pequot Lakes, all to Duluth, all the way up to Virginia, Grand Rapids, Ely, and all the way up to almost International Falls. So, turn that back off. Oops, did not want to leave it on. I want to turn that back off. So, there we go. So, we have to watch. This is not an outflow boundary here. I don't think. I'd be surprised if it was. Now, the other thing I noticed is right here, this activity up here by Eden Valley is starting to pull together too. And that's ahead of this warning, so we're going to have to watch this area. I'm getting much more interesting here as the night starts to progress. All right. It's terrible. Every time I hear banana, I think phenomena. That's a different thing altogether. All right, so we do have two separate little areas developing out here. There's an area out here from Forest City through Litchfield down towards Cosmos, down towards the east side of Olivia, just south of Olivia, that's out ahead of the front. And then there's the front itself, which is running from Paynesville down towards Atwater, still to the west of Lake Lillian, just barely, just west of Olivia, down towards Bellevue. That's where the front lies. However, we do have that activity starting to pick up. There's even toward Eden Valley, Manana, there's another area up here. So I'm also seeing some activity starting to build up, trying to build up more. This area that went through Ramsey, it's expanding a bit here in Anoka County. Not anything that's in the metro right now, subsevere, will not be severe. I shouldn't say that. Very much likely will not be severe. Okay. So it's going to watch this little warning here. I'm going to pull up the details, shunt those off to the side for the moment. So the last update was at 11:41, so about 7 minutes ago. My guess is they will probably update this again here in about 5 minutes, right before it expires at midnight. We'll see if they extend that warning farther to the east If they do, it likely will not include the actual core of St. Cloud Metro, but St. Joe, Pleasant Lake, Rockville, down to Kimball, you'll probably be in it along with Watkins, Cold Spring, and Avon. That would be my guess. These storms are not moving at a high rate of speed. They're only moving east and northeast at 20, 25 miles an hour. So they're not going to be big extended warnings that run out for 2 or 3 counties. Nah, not going to happen. We'll have to see what actually transpires with this. The other thing, I'm still watching this activity over Meeker County. It's trying. And same with the storm down here by Olivia. I can't decide if it's on the... No, it's ahead of the front. So the front is still to the west of Olivia. So this little storm out here, just south of Olivia, is just ahead of the front. I mean, we're talking 4 or 5 miles. But you can see that line. I mean, there's a whole line there. So Olivia up towards Cosmos to Litchfield, Forest City, Watkins. There's another little line out here in front of everything else it's trying to pull together. Another little segment from northeast of Banana to Eden Valley up towards Cold Spring. Really, that's trying to pull together ahead of it too. So you know, all the storms are moving to the northeast pretty substantially too. But the whole line is just slowly drifting to the east. And I mean slowly. I'm looking at 20, 25 miles an hour, kind of slow. So, if you're in the Twin Cities, you're going to be waiting for a while. And I need to do a quick tech check here. Bear with me for just a second. I got to switch out some batteries. I know why. Now you should be able to hear me. There we go. Sorry about that. The old music. So they just canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for Stearns County. So I'm a little surprised. But I understand it just looking at the presentation, but at the same time I'm a little surprised at the same time. So another little cell out here trying to form between Maple Lake and French Lake in Wright County. I'll have to see what happens. Unless this activity re-intensifies, we may not actually be getting much for severe weather. This may be one of those where the cap wins. No, they haven't. So you're talking to the voices in your head. That was a bad sign. Okay. Now, one thing that we haven't talked about is these storms are producing very heavy rain. There we go. I was waiting for that. What is going on with the warnings? There it is. I was like, why are you still there? Okay. So, as I was saying, one of the things have not talked about much is these storms are producing torrential rains. They don't last long, but they are producing heavy rain. So if you're up here in Stearns County, especially around Paynesville, up towards Farming, back down towards Manana and Meeker County, off towards Eden Valley, you're going to be getting some heavy rain here. St. Cloud, you're going to get a more extended period of moderate to heavy rain, but the heaviest rain will stay in southern Stearns County. Will just barely hit the northern part of Meeker County, and then it will clip the far northern part of Wright County before moving into Sherburne County. Just looking at how this line, yeah, this is really starting to. So you notice this line is starting to solidify. I mean, it's still not severe, but from Paynesville down towards Atwater, that line, even south of Atwater, that's starting to really pull together. So the front is quickly pulling away from the Wilmer area, which if you look, Wilmer's reporting now a northwest wind, 300 degrees. So yeah, they're moving north of west pretty well. Whereas out here in the metro, we are still sitting in southeast winds. A primed air mass, really. 84 degrees, 75 dew point in Blaine, Anoka. Crystal, 84 degrees, 77 degree dew point. 85 degrees and 76 dew point at the airport, MSP. 83 and 76 both at St. Paul and at Flying Cloud. 82 degrees and a 73 dew point at Lake Elmo. That's the metro. Lakeville, 81 degrees, 75 degree dew point. So this area, and out here in the metro, Buffalo, 81 degrees and 81 dew point. Visibility's 10, I'm surprised. So I'm going to shorten this loop up a bit. We don't need to go back a whole half hour. So, look at this area specifically over Litchfield. Okay, so that is starting to strengthen up some. Well, that will solve, yeah, not here, right there. Unless this really, something starts to really intensify though. Watch lightning activity down here south of Paynesville. Boom. That really starts to pick up. So I'm wondering if we're going to wind up seeing be interesting to see if they issue a news for a thunderstorm warning out here. See what Paynesville's reporting. Well, we're not going to be able to see it until see the actual minute by minute. Let's see if I can pull this up here. Let's see if I can get the last minute. A lot of times most of the sites that let you interrogate this will only let you interrogate up to the hour. Oh, 4:35, yeah. So it's reporting every 20 minutes, so we should have a new report here anytime from Paynesville. Paynesville's reporting northeast wind as of 35 after. Okay. So we know the front is now through Paynesville. That northwest wind is your dead giveaway. So Olivia here, the next report, should be showing a northwest wind as well. Nice little cell here between Annandale and Maple Lake on 55. It's activity just south of just over Litchfield. That area is starting to actually intensify a bit. But as it is, we've got some nice thunderstorms starting to build up. Nice rain showers at least, but nothing severe at the moment. So right now let's zoom out and take a look at the big picture. We have a severe thunderstorm watch that runs from almost Baudette over to International Falls, over to Ely, and then that comes all the way down to Long Prairie, all the way over to Spooner, Wisconsin, and then it narrows to the southwest, comes down to the Twin Cities, and then from there narrows down all the way down to Fairmont. To the west, we've got some clearance, but the northwest 5 counties of Iowa, so Rock Rapids, Sioux Center, Sibley, Lake Okoboji, Spirit Lake, and Sheldon. You were in that severe thunderstorm watch. And then all of southwest Minnesota. So Pipestone, Windham, all the way up to Benson, Morris, and Alexandria. You're still in it. Wadena, you're in it. But realistically, looking at where the storms are and where the front is, the front has gotten through When did Park Rapids last report? 10:53. Okay. So I will almost bet my last dollar that Park Rapids is going to show a northwest wind in the next report. Alexandria is already reporting a northwest wind. Same with Morris. Same with Benson. Same with Montevideo. So the front's through these areas. So Yellow Medicine, Lac-qui-Parle, Chippewa, Swift, Pope, Grant, and Stevens. I will not be surprised if you are all cleared out of the watch in the next update. Just because the front is well through, you're starting to cool off, so you're going to need to be more stable. Is it drying out yet? No, it's still incredibly humid. It's still dew points in the 70s, but that's not necessarily the worst thing. And I have lost what I was looking for. Great. I just lost my base for my wireless mic. So I have the one part of it right here, but unfortunately, the part that feeds into the computer, the other end of the wireless, just fell behind. So I'll have to dig for that eventually here. But yeah, right now, unless this area grows together, I'm not... I mean, we're getting upscale growth. I mean, it's not... There's nothing happening, but there's also nothing like, oh wow, happening either. So that's why I'm a little perplexed. Let's see what we get. I don't know why, but for some reason, encoding all this stuff really makes my computer cranky. I can't imagine why. So I'm going to close that out and see if that helps. I'm going to close a few things out here and see if I can make things a little easier on the computer. Apparently not. I know the problem is actually the radar program. It tends to get a little fussy with things. So we have 2 special weather statements, one over by Marquette, Michigan, and one in Kansas, Nebraska. We have our severe thunderstorm watch, and that's it. And it's very quiet. So as I look at this, the area up around St. Cloud, that area is weakening. However, we're getting a nice, stronger area starting to show up here northeast of Eden, or northwest of Eden Valley, east of Paynesville. So just north of 55. Right in here, looks like they might be getting some more hail in that. So let's take a look. Actually, it's showing quite the hail course south. Wow. Let's see. Yeah. Huh. This area right here, just south of Paynesville across, just moving into Meeker County. So that's going to be up by Crow River and Manana. That area of northern Meeker County, northwestern Meeker County. You have to let us know if you're getting some hail out that way, because that area is starting to look like it's producing some bigger hail. There we go. Yeah, there's our little sprinkles up there. There's this area up here. I was looking at this area up by Maple Lake. That's a little bit growing. It's trying. Oh, it's trying. Same thing with this line out in front. That's really starting to fill in now. Now, this is definitely looking spicier. This northern part's starting to kind of fall apart, which doesn't surprise me. What we could see happen, and it's far too early to say this for certain, is we have the stronger line right on the front, but with this line out in front, they're moving in parallel. This line from Forest City to Litchfield, in other words, Cosmos and Bird Island. If that can strengthen up more, what'll happen is it'll cut the inflow off, because the inflow is moving this way. You see the wind directions are out of the southeast, and the upper air is really from the south. So that will cut this area off, which would weaken this, but it would strengthen this. And this area is on all of its own. But until I start seeing some lightning activity with it, or some more signs of upscale growth, not yet. Still noticing quite a bit of lightning activity up here. Northwestern Meeker County. A lot of lightning in this. tell you right now, I am tired of listening to Perfect Paul in my ear. I think I'd rather listen to a producer yell in my ear. It's not nearly as stressful. So, unfortunately, what I want to look at most, Chanhassen is the radar of choice because here's Sioux Falls. We're not looking down here by Marshall and all that. At most, Redwood Falls, maybe Lamberton, but with where the front is, it's through Tracy. So we're already through here. We're already pushing away quite a ways from the Sioux Falls radar. And most of the activity is up here in central Minnesota, so we really, Chanhassen is the radar of choice at the moment. So, oh, that's better. Oh. The other thing I want to point out here is as we look at all of this, from Atwater north, there's lightning in it. Quite a bit of lightning actually around the Paynesville, Eden Valley, Manana area. But south of Atwater, south of Litchfield, south of Highway 12, there's no lightning. None. And that tells me that this area is not organizing terribly well. So for the core metro, the 7-county metro into western Wisconsin, I'll point out that Polk County is the only county in. St. Croix, Pierce, Pepin, you're out. You were never in the watch to begin with. 7-county metro, currently boring. There's nothing happening yet. Still out to our west. St. Cloud, you had stronger activity coming at you. This little pocket out here by Cold Spring, up in front of the line, that might be able to sneak up and give you guys some good pouring rain and a little bit of lightning and maybe some small hail in St. Cloud. But it looks like it'll just be light rain and a little lightning, if that. This is really starting to fall apart up here on the north side. There's a little bit of a downpour by Avon, but really that's starting to really fall apart. I mean, if you're north of Farming, so Farming to Pleasant Lake, that area north, this is weakening up. So the strongest storms right now are in the area around Eden Valley to Paynesville, down towards Manana, even towards Grove City. That area is starting to show some signs of strengthening again, back down towards Atwater. But if you're watching, listening, and you are in Wilmer, you're in Kandiyohi County, you're going to be out of this in about 20 minutes. Renville County, you're in it for a little while longer. You've got some storms trying to develop around the Hector and Olivia area in northeastern Renville County. McLeod County, that's going to move into you eventually towards Hutchinson. Wright County, you've got a cells that are trying. One up by Silver Creek, the other one down by Maple Lake. They're trying to pull together, but they're just not getting there. Same thing with this line that extends from near Kimball down towards Forest City and Litchfield, back down towards Cosmos. And that rains all the way down to Bird Island and intercepts the front there. Having said that, though, this area around Litchfield is starting to show some signs of strengthening. Same thing with this cell by Maple Lake. So any of these little cells out in front, especially this one out here by Cold Spring, that one could actually bring some substantial rain into St. Cloud. It's starting to show some lightning activity too, so keep that in mind as well. Shorten this up even more. There we go. So I'm going to actually split this, only because of the structure of that cell. I just want to look at, yeah, there's nothing to it. I didn't think so. So I'll look at this cell due south of Cold Spring. And you notice this little bowl in here, but there's nothing to it there. So this is where knowing where your radar data is and knowing how to interrogate it is really important. Because if you're looking strictly going, oh, there's a notch there, yeah, there is. But there's no circulation with it at all. Notice there's no circulation with any of this, really. Closest thing we have to a circulation is a little pocket here to the northeast of Litchfield. That strikes me more, looking at this part, looks to me like we're getting a hail core there. And I'll bet you, if we look just northeast of Litchfield and the vertically integrated liquid, which is not quite caught up yet, but yeah. I would not be surprised when this... Yeah, this is still quite a ways behind. Why is that elevation that high? What the hell? That's weird. Okay. So yeah, it's still... This is way behind. Like 15 minutes behind. Which is very strange. But looking at this area, this is the area it's moving north. It's moved up to the east of Paynesville here. But that's this area. So, Richmond to Cold Spring. To the northwest of Eden Valley to the southeast of Roscoe. Coming in on Highway 23. 23 it'll cross 23, but Richmond to Cold Spring, that area. Okay, you see some hail in that. Not big hail, but there's definitely some hail possible. Looking back out in south of Highway 12, the only place that shows any signs of anything in terms of a hail core is just southwest of Litchfield, and that was still 15 minutes ago. So that would be that pocket right up here, just to the east of northeast of Litchfield. Yeah, there's nothing cooking. I don't even want to look at hydrometeor classification. That would help. So, yeah, showing a little bit of hail here. More substantial area here. Oh, that's weird. the storm depiction, or the precipitation depiction type depiction is actually fat. There it is. It's caught up a little bit. The radar's actually lagging behind a little bit. But you notice we got a pocket of hail up here north of Eden Valley. Again, looking at hail. That's not even large hail. It's just hail. So probably getting pea to nickel sized hail up here. That reaches down. So zoom into this a little bit. So the area between Richmond and Eden Valley, right along 22 there, could be seeing some hail. And that kind of extends southwest to the west of Manana, kind of along Highway 4 there, to just north of Grove City. Another little pocket south of Forest City. And then everything south and west of there is just rain. Well, a couple of pockets of heavier rain. Yeah. So just out here, just northwest of Lake Lily, or northeast of Lake Lillian. A couple of scattered pockets down here by Bird Island. Just Forest City, just to your south and east, back towards Litchfield. And then this area between Cold Spring, Richmond, Eden Valley to Manana, back out towards Highway 4. That's a pocket of very heavy rain with some hail mixed in north of Eden Valley. But the only thing we have going is some heavier rain possible up here towards Isanti, moving up towards Cambridge. And we have some heavier showers. One is up here by 35E and 694 in Little Canada. We've got another one here in the metro west of Hastings and south of Great Cloud Island. And one way, way down here north of Prior Lake and west of Savage. So right about where 169, 101, and Highway 13 all tie together. That area. Otherwise, we have no severe weather. And really the only active part of the storms is up around Eden Valley, Paynesville, in terms of lightning activity. And that's also where we're seeing just a hint of a hail core and maybe some hail in that. Otherwise, nothing severe. We're in watch and wait mode at this point, hoping something happens. Well, hoping something doesn't happen, but seeing if something does happen. So, put the radar back in motion here if it will. It's okay. Bear with me here. I'm going to switch radar sources because this is starting to get a little cranky pants. So, radar. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. There we go. And feed settings. Okay, that's right. I can't do that. Shoot. I forgot about that. I'm used to using a different program. I'm going to actually switch radar sources entirely here. So bear with me, folks. You're going to see something completely different that I normally don't use for this. just because it's harder to deal with. There we go. Where am I looking? Oh, I'm in the wrong area entirely. Holy buckets. Huh. So maybe I won't. Okay. So huh. Bear with me here. I did something to this program and now it's not working. And so I want to fix this quick because this is really annoying because this is a really solid program. Documentation, there we go. Settings. Okay, so okay. Okay. Let's see if this makes more sense. It does. It makes my life much happier. Oh, I did not expect it to completely destroy that. Oh, man. Okay. Okay. Do. Oh. Thank you. There we go. Come on. Okay. All right. Oof. Oh, for Pete's sake. There we go. Oh, that looks much better. Okay, so. There we go. Okay. Eesh. Oh, I'm trying to remember which one. I had a really nice setup for this, and I had to wipe it to get this to help. So. No. Okay. I apologize, folks. I'm just trying to pull everything together here and make this all happen so I can do this. That's really hard to see. Worse than this. Okay, so. That's not so bad. Yeah, it is. Okay. We're going to go with this. Okay. Bear with me here. Whoops. I need to. Okay, so I can close that out. Okay. Jeez Louise. Okay, so we need to grab. Okay. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. So this is a different view it seems to be updating a lot better too. So, looking at our vertically indicated liquids, which is our hail detector, really. Here's that area north of Manana, west of Watkins, southeast of Paynesville, really just southeast of Eden Valley. Another pocket south of Watkins, northeast of Forest City. And got some heavier rain, a shower up here over Isanti, but that's about it there. So I'm going to pull up here. It's a really awful product, but yeah, ugh. This is what radar used to look like. And so that's what I'm used to seeing there. That's what everybody's used to. Really? Okay, it's not going to let me see level 3. Or level 2. Interesting. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it's showing the warning there. I was thrown off for a second when it showed the warning. I'm like, did I miss something entirely? So yeah, it's just because it's going back to the last 30 minutes. It's also going a little slow. There we go. A little faster that way. So this is one of the radar products I can use. And this being the other. And there's the Radar Omega look that you're used to seeing here. So I'm going to zoom in on this. I'm going to put it in motion for a minute. Maybe. Okay. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, it's getting a little creaky. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to throw it back up. I'm going to throw Supercell Weather back up, which is the other program I was showing you. So there's that. I'm going to drag it there. Okay. So I can talk over that. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to murder Radar Omega real quick, because it seems to be trying to drag the system down as it goes. So it doesn't want to loop. And it just defaulted back to St. Louis. Why the hell? There we go. That's more what I'm looking for is us. Okay. Alright. So there's that. Very blue screen over there. Wow. So here's our storms. Notice there's not even a special weather statement out on this. There is nothing happening. So I'm going to make a switch here real quick. Okay. Yeah, we've got a problem. So just when you thought it was safe to go in the water, I'm stuck on this because my computer just froze. Maybe? Yeah, it did. Okay. What the? Oh. Okay, my computer just released itself. That was weird. I've not seen that do that in a long time. Okay. There we go. Oh, that's so much better. Hey, nice and reactive now. Alright, so bear with me here. I'm going to switch radar sites again, or switch radar programs. And it's going to be confused because I just closed it out and reopened it. There. What? Oh. Really? Okay, fine. Well, problem I'm having I can't fix without a restart of the stream, and I don't want to do that right now. Then again, it will. Okay, so that's way back there. Okay. Let's look at the big picture here. I'm gonna see if I can close that out. The question is, I don't know how to get back. I like this program a lot. It does a lot, but unfortunately, I can easily trap myself where I can't see quite what's going on. So you guys still see that bar, even though I closed it. Interesting. Makes me wish I could see it myself and get rid of it, make it go away, but I can't. Okay, so unless there we go. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Something's gone sideways. That's for darn sure. Okay, so. I am going to try this again. Huh. Okay. Selector. Great. Okay, so my choices are this or nothing. Okay. So we're gonna use the. Something's gone sideways in the state of Denmark here. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, y'all, I will be right back. Really? Okay, no, I have a complete system crunch at this point. I don't want to restart, but I'm going to have to. Be right back. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. And we're back. I hope. Alright, so let me get a very different setup in place here. Now I know what that window there, that window needs to be. Why can't I? Come on. Full screen. And let's go full screen. Thank you. Okay, why are you being difficult? That's good. There we go. Okay. Radar Omega. Properties. Open selector. That's right, that's not gonna work. It's so much fun when technology decides to take a digger. It really is. So that is exactly what I've got going on. Are you not going to let me do a screen capture? Really? Seriously? Okay. No, you're not. What the hell? Okay, so I'm going to restart one more time here. And I think we're back. God, I hope so. That was just terrible. Okay, so are we back? I think we're back. We'll find out here in a second, or two, or three. Yes, we are. We're back. Okay. Okay. There we go. Wow, that was annoying. So I don't know what happened. Something locked up and took my entire desktop environment with it. And so I'm sitting here desperately trying to figure out what's going on and having no luck. And I don't have audio. What the hell? Okay, so let me look and see. Okay. Ooh, I don't. Okay, so I know what happened. I think. Okay, so I'm going to Can you hear me now? Yes, you can. All right, there we go. Okay, that was entirely awful. All right, things are sort of back, and we are back. I am going to step aside and need to fix a couple of tech problems off camera, and I will be back.
And right. Remember, a severe thunderstorm watch means the conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather, including large hail and damaging winds in and close to the watch area. While severe weather may not be imminent, persons should remain alert for rapidly changing weather conditions and listen for later statements and possible warnings. Stay tuned to NOAA weather radio, commercial radio and television outlets, or internet sources for the latest severe weather information. Now here is the hazardous weather outlook for portions of central and southern Minnesota and west central Wisconsin. For tonight, clusters of thunderstorms will likely develop along a cold front this evening across western Minnesota and track eastward through the overnight hours. A few thunderstorms may be severe, with the main hazards being large hail and damaging winds. A tornado cannot be ruled out. And now the extended outlook for the period Saturday through Thursday. Lingering thunderstorms are possible across portions of western Wisconsin and southern Minnesota on Saturday. Severe weather chances are low. Spotter information statement. Skywarn spotter activation may be needed tonight into early Saturday morning. Now the forecast for central Minnesota from St. Cloud to the northwest Twin Cities suburbs. Overnight, cloudy. Chance of thunderstorms overnight, then thunderstorms likely overnight. Chance of thunderstorms early in the morning. Lows in the upper 60s. South winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Chance of thunderstorms 70%. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a 20% chance of thunderstorms in the morning, then sunny in the afternoon. Highs in the lower 80s. West winds around 5 miles an hour. Saturday night, mostly clear. Lows in the mid-60s. Southwest winds up to 5 miles an hour. Sunday, sunny.
That was North Eagle.
Highs in the lower 80s. West winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Sunday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 60s. West winds up to 5 miles an hour. Monday, sunny. Highs in the mid-80s. Monday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 60s. Tuesday, sunny. Highs in the lower 80s. Tuesday night and Wednesday, mostly clear. Lows in the lower 60s. Highs in the mid-80s. Wednesday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the mid-60s. Thursday, mostly sunny. Highs in the mid-80s. Thursday night, increasing clouds. Lows in the upper 60s. Friday, mostly sunny. Highs in the upper 80s. Again, the forecast for central Minnesota from St. Cloud to the northwest Twin Cities suburbs for overnight. Cloudy. Chance of thunderstorms overnight, then thunderstorms likely overnight. Chance of thunderstorms early in the morning. Lows in the upper 60s. South winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Chance of thunderstorms 70%. At midnight, in Buffalo, it was cloudy. The temperature was 81 degrees, the dew point was 81, and the relative humidity was 100%. The heat index was 91. The wind was southeast at 3 miles an hour. The pressure was 29.78 inches and rising. In Maple Lake, it was mostly cloudy. The temperature was 81 degrees. The dew point was 75, and the relative humidity was 83%. The heat index was 87. The wind was southeast at 3 miles an hour. The pressure was 29.79 inches and rising. Elsewhere across central Minnesota, at the Twin Cities, rain was falling with a temperature of 84. At Wilmer, fog was reported with a temperature of 77. At Litchfield, thunder was reported with a temperature of 81. It was partly cloudy with a temperature of 84 at Anoka and 81 at Princeton. At St. Cloud, it was mostly cloudy with a temperature of 79. It was cloudy with a temperature of 83 at Crystal and 77 at Little Falls. Around the state, skies ranged from mostly cloudy to cloudy. It was 79 at Rochester, 81 at Mankato, 77 at Brainerd, 73 at Duluth, and 74 at International Falls. Once again at midnight, in Buffalo, it was 81 degrees and the heat index was 91 under cloudy skies. And in Maple Lake, it was 81 degrees and the heat index was 87 under mostly cloudy skies. This is Weather Radio Station WNG676 Clearwater, broadcasting on a frequency of 162.50 megahertz. We broadcast from the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Chanhassen, Minnesota, serving listeners across much of central Minnesota. The current time is 12:37 a.m. Central Daylight Time.
Usually
Severe
if it
thunderstorm
says it's
watch
going to do
number
it, it's going to do
578
it.
remains in effect until 4 a.m.
So you guys
Saturday
can
for the
hear
following
way too much
counties
right now.
in Minnesota:
Aware of this,
Anoka,
so.
Benton, Carver, Hennepin, Isanti, McLeod, Meeker, Mille Lacs, Nobles, Sherburne, Stearns, and Wright.
Nothing.
Remember,
this
a
ahead.
severe thunderstorm watch means the conditions
So
are
Litchfield,
favorable for the development of severe
light
weather,
rain visibility
including
7.
large hail and
Gainesville
damaging
behind
winds
front.
in and close to the watch area.
Calm, but reporting a
While
heavy
severe weather
thunderstorm.
may not be imminent, persons should remain
Temperature
alert for
23,
rapidly
23,
changing weather conditions and
Okay.
listen for later statements and possible warnings.
There's a lot of lightning in this. I
Stay
will say
tuned to
that.
NOAA
There's a
Weather
lot of
Radio,
lightning in this area.
commercial radio, and
So from
television outlets,
Litchfield up
or
towards
internet sources for
south
the
side of
latest
St. Cloud,
severe weather
up towards
information.
Clearwater, and back towards
Now
Queensland,
here
but
is the
especially
hazardous weather
in
outlook for
Meeker
portions
County
of
and
central
that
and
south
southern
central part of
Minnesota
Stearns County.
and
There's
west
a lot of
central
lightning in this-
Wisconsin.
in this storm.
For tonight,
So there's a little bit
clusters of
lightning activity
thunderstorms
pop up
will
here
likely
in this little
develop
segment
along a
from
cold
Cosmos
front
to
this
Litchfield.
evening
We'll have to see
across
if that
western
develops any
Minnesota
further.
and track eastward through the overnight hours.
So
A few thunderstorms may be severe, with the main hazards being large hail and damaging
we'll
winds.
still try to get going by San
A tornado
Michael.
cannot be
Expect
ruled out.
nothing of it.
And now the extended outlook for the period Saturday through
So thunderstorm
Thursday.
watch updated.
Lingering thunderstorms are possible across
So-
portions of western Wisconsin and southern Minnesota on Saturday.
Really?
Severe weather chances are low.
So that was
Spotter
Sioux Falls
information
update
statement.
there.
Skywarn spotter activation may be needed tonight
Waiting
into
to
early
see if
Saturday
we're gonna
morning. This is Weather
drop those
Radio
Iowa
Station
counties.
WNG676 Clearwater, broadcasting on a frequency of 162.50 megahertz.
Another
We
look at
broadcast
it.
from the National Weather
Worthington's
Service
still in
Forecast
front of the front
Office in
here,
Chanhassen, Minnesota,
but
serving listeners across much
Tracy's
of central
behind it.
Minnesota.
Laverne likely behind
This
it.
is Weather Radio Station WNG676 Clearwater, broadcasting on a frequency of
You can see that little corner of
162.50
Wyndham Jackson,
megahertz.
all that.
We
That's
broadcast
there,
from the National Weather Service
curious if
Forecast
they'll even-
Office
they
in
should keep that
Chanhassen,
in the watch.
Minnesota,
Those
serving
areas are
listeners
still ahead
across
of the
much of
front.
central
What is
Minnesota.
behind that?
The
There's a
current
big
time
area
is
of clouds probably
12:40
happening
a.m.
in this
Central
watch.
Daylight Time. Severe thunderstorm watch number 578 remains in effect until 4 a.m. for the
Looking to see
following
what counties
counties
are in.
in Minnesota:
So Lyons is out, so that
Anoka,
includes
Benton,
Marshall.
Carver, Hennepin,
Yellow Medicine is
Isanti,
out.
McLeod, Meeker, Mille
Candy
Lacs,
Ojai's out.
Sherburne, Stearns, and Wright.
Okay, yeah, we're
Remember,
some wholesale
a
clearing.
severe thunderstorm
Stearns
watch
is still in.
means the
There's part of
conditions
that
are
clearance. There
favorable
goes
for the
Lyons
development of
and
severe weather,
that area,
including
and
large
that
hail
part
and
of
damaging
Rock
winds
Rapids, so
in
there's
and close
that.
to the watch area. While severe weather may not
Chanhassen
be
is not cleared
imminent,
yet. I'm waiting
persons
to see
should
what they
remain
do
alert
because
for
there's a lot of
rapidly
counties
changing
got
weather
dropped.
conditions and listen for
Watch.
later statements and possible warnings.
So
Stay tuned to NOAA Weather Radio, commercial
Just kinda
radio
looking
and
'cause I
television
keep
outlets,
flipping back
or
and forth
internet
between
sources
what
for the
counties are
latest
still in.
severe weather
Yellow
information.
Medicine is out. Renville's out.
Now here is the hazardous weather outlook for portions of central and southern Minnesota and west central Wisconsin. For
So that was
this
that.
is Weather
should
Radio
update here in a
Station
minute or two and show
WNG676
a substantial
Clearwater,
trim
broadcasting
of
on a
counties
frequency
here.
of 162.50
Cochise is
megahertz.
still in. St. Louis is
We
still in.
broadcast from the
Itasca
National
is
Weather
in.
Service Forecast Office
Just
in
looking to see what's
Chanhassen,
still in. Crowley's still
Minnesota,
in. Cellular
serving
Falls, you're still
listeners
into the
across
watch.
much of central
St.
Minnesota.
Cloud, you're into the watch.
This is Weather Radio Station WMG
Pope,
676 Clearwater,
Grant,
broadcasting on
Chippewa,
a frequency of 162.50 megahertz.
Renville,
We
Renville County's
broadcast
still
from
in.
the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Chanhassen, Minnesota,
yeah,
serving
a lot of
listeners
counties up
across
here.
much of central Minnesota.
So I'm waiting to see when that drops.
The
I'm gonna
current
see
time
what-
is
how far
12:41 a.m.
Chanhassen
Central Daylight
tops out
Time.
and tops those counties out.
Severe thunderstorm watch number
So right now,
578
the only
remains
thing
in
we really
effect
have
until
going
4 a.m.
is
for the
this
following
cluster
counties
up
in
here
Minnesota:
by St.
Anoka,
Cloud, and then
Benton,
back down
Carver,
towards
Hennepin,
Litchfield, back down
Isanti,
towards
McLeod,
Olivia,
Meeker,
yeah,
Mille
towards
Lacs,
Olivia and Hector.
Sherburne, Stearns, and Wright.
But
Remember,
unless
a
something
severe
starts to happen
thunderstorm
here,
watch
it's
means the conditions are
really
favorable
much
for the
going on.
development of severe
To the
weather,
point of,
including
I
large
kinda-
hail and
kinda
damaging
question
winds in and
how
close
much
to
longer
the
we can
watch
have a live
area.
stream going, because
While severe weather may not
we
be
had a
imminent,
little bit of
persons
severe
should
weather back
remain
here
alert
towards
for
Painesville,
rapidly changing weather conditions and
Sauk
listen
Center,
for later statements
and
and
towards
possible
Wilmer.
warnings. Stay
60
tuned
mile-
to NOAA Weather
Whoa,
Radio,
there we go.
commercial radio, and
And that's
television
the update
outlets
there,
or
so-
internet sources for the latest severe weather
who's
information.
out is what I want to see.
Now here is the hazardous weather outlook for portions of central and southern Minnesota
That's the
and
entire
west
Chanhassen
central
warning right
Wisconsin.
there flashing. Well,
For
that's
tonight.
covered in the watch.
Clusters of thunderstorms will likely develop along a cold front this evening across western Minnesota and track eastward through the overnight hours.
Okay, you're flashing, but
A
what's
few
going on?
thunderstorms may be severe, with the main hazards being large hail and damaging winds. A tornado cannot be ruled out. And now the extended outlook for the period Saturday through Thursday.
So,
Lingering thunderstorms are possible across portions of
here we
western
are. It is
Wisconsin
now
and southern
coming up
Minnesota on
quarter to
Saturday.
1 in the morning,
Severe weather chances are low.
and there's not a lot going on.
Spotter information
There
statement.
really is not.
Skywarn spotter activation may be needed
So-
tonight.
Yeah, I don't know, a lot of noise from this fan, I think. I'm gonna,
For central Minnesota,
as much as I'm boiling in here because of the production computer.
overnight.
Oh, that helped immensely. There we go.
Chance of thunderstorms overnight. Then
I didn't realize that fan was picking that up
likely
that well.
overnight. Chance of thunderstorms early in the morning.
Okay, so you guys can hear the weather radio if I stop talking, so that's perfect.
South winds 5 to
So-
10 miles an hour. Chance of thunderstorms
Looking,
70%.
okay, so there's the line. Okay, so there's the front itself.
Mostly cloudy
Cosmos
with
to Bird
20%
Island. So this little
chance of
finger
thunderstorms
from
in the morning, then
up
sunny
by,
in the afternoon.
wow, between Cosmos and Cedar Mills back down to Detector. This little finger right here is ahead,
Winds around
and that is the front there. So again, we're getting these little blips right up in front,
lows in the
kind of like
mid-60s.
here south of Litchfield.
Southwest winds
That's right in front
5 miles an
of the
hour.
front. Wow, this is
Sunny.
actually quite
Highs in
the
lower
interesting
80s.
setup.
West winds 5 to 10 miles an hour.
Unfortunately, there's not really
Sunday night,
much
partly
need for
cloudy.
me to be talking about it because there's not really anything severe happening.
West winds up to 5 miles
La
an
la
hour.
la 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 la.
Sunny.
It's pretty much it.
Highs in the mid-80s.
There's nothing cooking.
Monday night,
So-
partly cloudy. Lows in the
I'm gonna
lower
lean over and
60s.
start doing some
Tuesday, sunny.
off-camera stuff that needs to get caught up on.
Tuesday night and Wednesday,
Hopefully.
mostly clear. Lows in the lower 60s.
My desktop is boiling right now. It really is.
Wednesday night,
So-
partly cloudy.
My computer is more than capable of handling this kind of production. It really is. I mean,
Mostly sunny.
16 core processor, 64 gigs of RAM, high-end video card. Video card's not breaking a sweat.
Lows in the upper 60s.
Hard drives aren't breaking a sweat. The CPU, however, doing all of the encoding is not happy. It's been running about 75C all night, and it's producing a ton of heat that is just pouring out into the studio here. So yeah, it's a little toasty in here.
Overnight. Then thunderstorms
And I had the fan going, and I realized that it was generating a ton of background noise. So I decided to kill it so you guys could hear me better.
south winds 5 to 10 miles an hour.
So I'm going to do a quick
70%
status update on social media, and then
in Buffalo.
from there we're going to figure out if I'm going to stay live or not.
Temperature was
My,
81 degrees. The dew point was 81.
my guess is no.
Relative humidity was 100%.
Just because there's nothing for me to talk about. I'm just sitting here kind of filling space, waiting for something to maybe happen. And looking at this line, there's nothing happening with it.
In Maple Lake,
So,
it was mostly cloudy. The temperature was 81 degrees. The dew point
Saturday,
was 75, and the
August
relative
9,
humidity was
2025.
83%. At Wilmer, fog was reported with a temperature of 77.
Thinking out loud,
At
sorry folks.
Litchfield, thunder was reported
Roughly
with a
from-
temperature of 81. It was partly cloudy with a temperature of 84 at Ahuka and 81 at Princeton. At St. Cloud, it was mostly cloudy with a temperature of 79. It was cloudy with a temperature of 83 at Crystal and 77 at Little Falls. Around the state, skies ranged from mostly
Oh,
cloudy to
I
cloudy.
don't want to call this.
It was 79 at Rochester,
Yeah,
81 at
Falls,
Mankato, 77 at Brainerd, 73 at Duluth, and 74 at International Falls.
The
Once again at midnight in Buffalo,
Star.
it was 81 degrees and the heat index was 91 under cloudy skies. And in
storms.
Maple Lake, it was 81 degrees and the heat index was 87 under mostly cloudy skies. This is Weather Radio Station WMG676 Clearwater, broadcasting on a frequency of 162.50 megahertz. We broadcast from the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Chanhassen, Minnesota, serving listeners across West central Minnesota.
Heavy.
The current time is 12:48 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Severe thunderstorm watch number 578 remains in effect until 4 a.m. for the following counties in Minnesota: Anoka, Benton, Carver, Hennepin, Isanti, McLeod, Meeker, Mille Lacs, Sherburne, Stearns, and Wright. Remember,
Yeah, that's quite the
a
cut down of
severe
counties there.
thunderstorm watch means the conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather, including large hail and damaging winds in and close to the watch area. While severe weather may not be imminent, persons should remain alert for rapidly changing weather conditions and listen for
Yeah, they don't even have
possible warnings. Stay tuned to NOAA
the
Weather Radio.
severe thunderstorms can produce tornadoes with little or no warning on the watch. It's our tornado threat is I don't want to say zero, but it's extremely low. And we're gonna get a overnight severe thunderstorm outlook. There's a short day one that gets issued for the overnight because the day one should actually kick in at 7 a.m. But the overnight here will usually get a small one, and I'm just waiting for that to pop through. And yeah, right now, as I look at this, there's nothing in this at all that says, hey, pay attention to me, I'm really scary. This looks like the kind of storm you'd want to open the window for and let it rain for a while.
Severe weather chances are low. Spotter information statement. Skywarn spotter activation may be needed tonight into early Saturday morning.
Okay, so,
Now the forecast for central Minnesota from St. Cloud
okay,
to the
so,
Twin Cities suburbs. Overnight, cloudy. Chance of thunderstorms overnight. Thunderstorms likely overnight. Chance of thunderstorms early in the morning. Lows in the upper 60s. South winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Chance of thunderstorms 70%. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a 20% chance of thunderstorms in the morning, then sunny in the afternoon. Highs in the lower 80s. West winds around 5 miles an hour. Saturday night, mostly clear.
I just realized that Chan hasn't issued that update, but they didn't clear any counties.
Up to 5 miles an hour.
Interesting.
Sunday,
I really expected them to clear from, say,
5 to 10 miles an hour.
well, Little Falls, no, but close.
Cloudy.
Boy, that is really kind of a split there.
West wind up to 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm looking at different screens here. Yeah, I'm really surprised that everything from Little Falls to Redwood Falls and Wyndham to the west was not cleared out.
Sunny.
They've left Yellow Medicine and Lac-Qui-Parle, and I don't know why. They're well inside the other air mass.
Lows in the low
So,
80s. Highs in
as it stands, it is now 10 to 1, and these storms are not severe. They are not showing much upscale growth in terms of severity. Though as I say this, I see the latest scan on this area down here south of Litchfield. So that will have to be watched. I'm going to pop that out from behind. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do a different way. I'm going to move myself. So we're going to move Black Sheep. Not that. We're going to move Black Sheep. We're going to move Mr. Sheepy up here. And we're going to move me as well. Let's watch me go flying. Whee! There we go. I will pick a different spot there. Which makes much more sense for how we look at things, because they don't need to see me that far out. So, come on. There we go. That's better. All right, so, oh, that helps in some ways. Oh. All right, so looking at this activity, it's slowly coming into Wright County, and I say slowly. Nice line forming up here through central Meeker County. That area down south of Litchfield is starting to expand in terms of the amount of precip area, but it's not intensifying really. It's still the same basic strength it was, which is to say, it's there, it's producing heavy rain, but it's not doing anything severe. West of the west of I'm trying to think when it's not working. Currently the one cluster of storms is severe. So we're gonna hold on to this for the next few minutes here. So this area up here towards St. Cloud came together nicely, but it's starting to kind of show signs of falling apart. However, the area to the south down here from Forest City to Litchfield down to Greenleaf and Cosmos, that is rapidly spreading. So keep an eye on that for the next little bit here, but I don't see, unless a warning gets issued here in the next 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to call it a night. And we're going to thank our lucky stars that we did not get what could have happened. Because in all reality, the forecast and the way it looked was it was going to be, it could have been a high-end severe weather event with winds 80 to 90 miles an hour and having just bonkers-sized hail. I mean, hail up to 2 inches was originally forecast in all of this. So what I will probably do is at 1 o'clock, I will let the stream roll for the full 12 hours. But then what I will do is I will let everything go. And so I will leave the warnings up. They're doing their job quite well, except there's nothing to warn about. So let's run Chippewa County live. What the heck? Okay, I'm questioning really why some of these counties are still in, but that's a Chanhassen thing. I don't make those decisions. That's a National Weather Service Chanhassen option. Okay, so continues the watch. They have not. Okay, so I'm going to grab a window here real quick. Pardon me. So I can show you guys what I'm talking about here. Pineware. There we go. All right, so what you're looking at there is a mess. I apologize. So I didn't do that quite the way I wanted to. So there we go. Throw that back where it belongs, which is much farther south. There we go. There we go. So what we're looking at here is me making a mess, it looks like. Yeah, so that's that. There we go. That is the area of the Severe Thunderstorm Watch that Chanhassen has left in effect as of 12:40 a.m. I will note, not a single county in the Chanhassen warning area has been cleared from this watch. Again, make this crystal clear. As of 12:40 a.m., No county in the Chanhassen warning area that has been in this watch has been cleared. I don't agree with the decision, but it is the decision that Chanhassen has made, and we will respect it. This watch does continue until 4 a.m. And so as we drop this back out, there we go, and go back to our radar view, the only thing that's really happening is this area of activity that's really starting to... I'm not sure what it's trying to do, actually, because we've got this bigger cell here, but it's starting to break apart from the area up here by Forest City. So this is going to be an interesting structure to watch, because this cell is really kind of by itself, and it's exploding over what appears to be the front. This is starting to look much more interesting. That's the word I'll use there. Interesting. So beyond that, I'm going to see if there's anything else. Yeah, the last warning expired over an hour ago. Oh, I missed that. Yep, so let's do that. What's over here? Okay, and... Holy buckets! Okay, so... Just looking back 2.5 hours now to 10:15 when Chanhassen issued this. Okay, so originally the thought was it was going to be a large hail threat transitioning to a damaging wind threat. I did not see that the 7 p.m. upper air sounding from Chanhassen showed a 24-degree cap. If I had seen that, I think I would have probably not even thrown a live stream up, because it's that's an extremely intense cap. I'm surprised that this activity that we see on the radar now is even there. It's been that intense. Excuse me. Oh, starting to lose my voice again. So, I was looking here. About an hour ago now, they issued the midnight or 1 a.m. Aviation discussion. They issue them every 6 hours, and it comes out for 1 a.m., but they issued it at midnight just to make sure that pilots have it. So, oh, Melissa wrote the update. Okay. So yeah, they're looking at adjusting some of the forecast timing, but that's useless. Okay, so earlier in the west and later in the east. Oh, thank you for that brilliant piece of knowledge, Chanhassen. Every once in a while they issue statements, and I'm just like, really? Mm-hmm. It's like timing difference in the tempo group from the TSR. Thunderstorms. You see a brief MVFR all the way free to by 23. What? Okay. What? Okay. Hi. Did I not just trip that quick? There we go. Okay. What? So, that's not enough? Oh, okay. You're gonna fuss at me, aren't you? Yeah. Okay. Oh, I know why, because I'm silly. There we go. Let's try that. I'm so used to thinking of Chanhassen as MPX, but they're not. They're really MSP still. Cannot find. What the? Okay. Okay. Okay, let me do this a different way. different site. There are certain sites that work better for certain things, and this is going to be one of them. Okay. Oh, that's not what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. Okay. By WFO, MPX. Okay. Okay.
Thunderstorms likely early in the morning. Then chance of thunderstorms early in the morning.
Work tab. Okay, that's the 0 tab. No, that's the noon tab. What the?
Winds 5 to 10 miles an hour.
Okay.
Chance of thunderstorms 70%.
Huh.
Mostly cloudy with a 20% chance of thunderstorms in the morning.
Okay. So
Highs in the lower 80s.
apparently
West winds around 5 miles an hour.
this site does not track
Saturday night, mostly clear. Lows in
the aviation products. That's annoying.
up to 5 miles an hour.
Okay.
Sunday, sunny. Highs in the lower 80s.
Oh.
Winds up to 10 miles an hour. Sunday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 60s.
What the?
Winds
Okay, that's
up to 5
not
miles an hour.
interesting.
Monday, sunny.
So I'm gonna
Highs in the mid 80s.
total side note here.
Cloudy.
We can't see it because we're clouded over, but space weather conditions are actually conducive for some aurora tonight. The other thing that's working against us is even if we were clear, we do have the full moon that is going to really block it out. We're coming up quickly on the peak of the Perseid meteor shower, which peaks here on the 13th, which midweek we should have clear skies at night, so it should be a good time to watch. Unfortunately, we're still going to have the problem with the amount of moonlight in play. So,
Friday, mostly sunny. Highs in the
okay. Wow. So, looks like what we missed out on today here, looks like it's going to actually manifest itself farther west. Lucky, or farther east, I should say, not farther west, farther east. So I'm going to pull up the new Day 1 Severe Weather Outlook, which just dropped. It has not gotten the new one yet because it's still showing us in it, so
10 miles an hour.
wait a little bit here and it will catch up, hopefully.
This is weather radio station WMG 67.
So I'm going to turn that back off and give it a
Broadcasting on a
good 5 minutes here to catch up.
2.50 megahertz. We broadcast from the National Weather Service
There we go.
broadcast office in Chanhassen, Minnesota, serving listeners across much of central Minnesota.
Excuse me, I got the hiccups, not great. So, watching this activity up here from Clearwater back towards Kimball, back down just east of Litchfield, down towards Darwin, and moving down towards Cedar Mills and Cosmos, west of Hutchinson. There is nothing severe in this. There's maybe a little bit of a hail core down here, southwest of Darwin, southeast of Litchfield. But that's about it. I mean, and looking at that, I'm just going to pull up the latest scan and then take a look at the vertically integrated liquid. Okay, there's hail. It looks like there might be some more hail up here north of Kingston. That is our 2 pockets of hail. That's all there is. So we know that there's hail there, but let's see what kind of hail we're talking about. Okay, so the cell just to the southeast of Litchfield has got quite the hail core with it. And then this activity is moving up towards Kimball. It's got a nice little hail core to it, not as intense as the one down here by Litchfield. But either way, I mean, the reflectivity data and the hydrometeor classification, notice there's no big hail marker. There's a hail marker, a little bit here. There's a lot of rain in this storm is what that tells us. If we were seeing, like up here, if we were seeing red, like if we were seeing the brick or the yellow color, that would be large hail or giant hail. And giant hail, the yellow, that would be pushing hail greater than 2 inches. And that, of course, that's looking up the radar height. But still, I would not be surprised if there's some pea to maybe dime-sized hail and a couple of these cores. But really what we're looking at is torrential downpours. I'm surprised that we're not seeing more signs of, well, heavy rain is the green, so, yeah. That doesn't get any heavier than that, so. But it is now 5 after 1. There is nothing severe happening in our area. There is nothing severe anywhere, really. So I'm going to pop this out. There we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom this out just a smidget more. I'm going to include our southern areas. And what I'm going to do is let this run. We have about another 8.5 hours of runtime left for the stream. I'm just going to leave the stream up. I shouldn't, but I'm going to. And I say that only because my computer doesn't like it when I do that. It tends to think that that's a free range for it to go bonkers. And actually, given the fact that it's turning into quite the oven in terms of heating the studio here, no. I'm gonna kill the stream. So thank you all for popping in if you did, and looks like a few people did through the night. And I'm gonna let our friends on social media know that we are done. And unless something radically changes in the next half an hour, you will not hear from me again until tomorrow when we do our normal forecast discussion and update. Or forecast. Discussion and update. Oh, God, I hope there's not an update. Discussion and forecast. So it's also getting after 1 o'clock, and I'm starting to get tired, I can tell. Starting to lose insanity a little bit. So thank you, everybody, for watching, and have a great night. Again, we have nothing severe in our area. If we had something severe, I would not be thinking about ending this stream. If we had anything that looked like it could be severe, I wouldn't be ending this stream. Now, I will notice they did just bring the latest fronts in. That came out as of 1 o'clock, so that's current. I believe. I'm going to double check that time, but just because sometimes they do. That's that. And oh, I gotta find this real quick. It's not a product I use that often. That's that. Good gravy. There it is. I had to think of where it was. Valid for 10 p.m. What? I don't think so. I hadn't gotten that far at 10 o'clock, but thanks for playing. It's one of those where I'm just like, no. Actually, yeah. It's a little behind. So yeah, we'll get another update here shortly-ish. But, turn it off. I was noticing there's a bit of a remnant boundary through here, and that's exactly what it is. It is just a boundary. It doesn't really delineate anything in terms of a front. It's just there's a bit of a slight change in the air mass. It looks like it's a little bit more moist to the south. But temperatures are still in the low 80s. Dew points are still in the mid to upper 70s. It's still miserable outside. Just taking a quick look around the metro. Dew points, as I said, are in the mid to upper 70s. Still 84 at Anoka, 81 at Lake Elmo, 83 at Inver Grove Heights, South St. Paul, 84 at the International Airport, 83 at Flying Cloud, 83 at Crystal, 81 at Buffalo, 81 degree dew point. Oh my gosh. So Buffalo is currently reporting 100% humidity. I don't even want to know what that looks like for heat index. I think it's about 90 degrees. So it's still an incredibly muggy, miserable night out there. We are going to get some thunderstorms eventually in the metro. If you are north of the Minnesota River, unless we start getting some sustained development. Hi, are you going to load? You're doing it again. Oh my gosh. I don't know what's going on with this. So, I think my computer is just not happy is what it is. It's been sitting at 75C now for a couple hours, and it just is not used to that. Even with me gaming, it's not used to that. So, let's do that. I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. Bink. That, so keep defaulting back. Oh, no. Hi. Oh, okay. That was fun. Okay. Oh. Okay. Let's see what that does. So what I'm looking at is a different program. Trying to pull up Supercell weather again, and it keeps not wanting to. Okay. So what it's doing is it's showing me the St. Louis radar, because for the last time I used it, I was looking at St. Louis, and I think St. Louis is my default, and I'm not sure why. Yeah, it just will not let me have anything. This is not helpful. So again, let's see if I can pull up. Okay. Think. Read the docs. Okay. So. Okay, so that's not helpful. I didn't think so. Oh, whoa. Okay. So I'm just looking in here to see if I can figure out map shift. No. Okay. Okay. So am I losing my marbles? Entirely possible. Okay. Oh, I love this program. I've used this program for years, and for some reason, I am just drawing a blank. So what I really want to do is just bring this up so I can switch radars so that a program that is dying will actually work. Okay, and that's that. Plunk. Okay. Okay, I know what happened, and I know what just... Okay, this is annoying. Okay, so... Okay. Clusters of thunderstorms will likely develop along a cold front this evening across western Minnesota and track eastward through the overnight hours. A few thunderstorms may be severe, with the main hazards being large hail and damaging winds. Just looking to see if I can figure out how to pull this back out. Oh my god. Seriously. Wrong screen. Okay, so... File settings. Okay, but... Yep, so something in this setup, as soon as I bring up that program, kills it. Okay, so... Oh, there it is. Hi. So... Yeah, it's not... Oh, jeeps. Okay. Yeah, it's frozen. Okay, so... If you were in southeastern Stearns County, if you're on Clearwater, Kimball, South Haven, and then back along the Highway 15 corridor down towards Kingston to Dassel, back towards Darwin and Greenleaf, you are in an area of just absolutely torrential rain right now. And so I would not be surprised if we saw some flood advisories or even a special weather statement for possible street flooding and urban small stream flooding kind of thing. But otherwise, there is nothing going on with this. It's just an area of storms slowly moving to the east. Moving into Sherburne County now, between Santiago and Becker to the north and east, up towards St. Cloud. Eventually, it'll get into the metro if it holds together long enough. But until that happens, we're going to be waiting a while. Right now, I'm going to do a quick grab on this. Based on the activity that is north of Dassel, it would reach Otsego and Corcoran and Rogers, that area, around 2:40, so another hour and a half. Maple Grove at 2:54, Osseo at 3, Champlin at 3:03, Anoka 3:04, and would reach Crystal at 3:07 and Robbinsdale at 3:11. That's if it holds together. Now, having said that, nothing is severe in this. Nothing at all. So... we're going to call it a night here at Black Sheep. I'm going to decompress, get some maybe a snack or something. I don't know. Maybe a popsicle. Help my voice. And then I'm going to call it a night myself. So everybody, again, we ran a little late because I was futzing with technology that's being temperamental. But that's the way it works around here, isn't it? So, oh, frustrated with this thing right now. So, yeah, everything's fine on the computer except for the processor, so I need to figure that one out. So that's a tomorrow project for me. So everyone have a good night. I am going to call it a night, and I'm going to see if I can figure